Welcome to round 6 of the Uncle Toby Super Series, and we travel all the way west to Scarborough Beach in Perth. It's a true Aussie sport, and the world's best Ironmen arrived in the West on Australia Day, where it seemed all of Perth turned out for the fiery celebrations. The Sandgropers are sports mad. They've produced such greats as Lily and Marsh, hosted one of the world's great sporting events, the America's Cup, and did the near impossible when the West Coast Eagles wrestled the AFL flag out of Melbourne, and produced arguably the best basketball team of the 90s, the Perth Wildcats. Many golden memories in a state renowned for its golden wealth. Once again, the man to beat, the mercurial Trevor Hendy. After losing his title last season, the three-time champion regathered, regrouped, and began a remarkable assault on the Uncle Toby's crown, including his most spectacular performance 2 weeks ago in Portsea, where he kept the winning streak intact, defying plenty of stiff opposition and the massive swell. Right over the top! Even the great man of the surf found Mother Nature a touch too tough in the final race of the day. He's skied! It's gone 15 feet in the air! But there was no denying Hendy. He recovered to win the race and stretch his advantage in the series. And he's got third real win. The surf boats are also back and ready for any challenge after the treacherous, if not spectacular, event to Portsea. The fluid's out, the boat's turned over, all members out. Will Hendy or his rivals be able to back up after the energy-sapping efforts of Portsea? While Hendy's only serious rival is best mate Dwayne Ties, eager to knock his training partner from the pedestal and gain the title for the first time. It's the only state where the sun sets over the ocean, and by the time it sinks, there'll only be one winner in today's Quadrathon.
And someone said, go west, young men, and we have done that. Welcome to the golden sands of Scarborough Beach. Hello there. I'm Larry Emder. We're about 20 minutes drive from the centre of Perth, round 6 of the Uncle Toby Super Series. A couple of weeks ago, it was huge season hypothermia we had problems with. Today, a whole new set of dangers present themselves. Mick Borrow, good afternoon.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
Good, good. I'm hot.
It is hot, isn't it?
We don't have to do anything.
That's right.
Tell us about this heat wave.
Well, it's going to be 37 degrees, they say, today, so you couldn't possibly get more opposite conditions than what we had at Portsea last week. I mean, it was big surf and really cold conditions, so we had hypothermia down there. Today, hypothermia. Today, it's hyperthermia, which means that they have containment of the heat inside. If the temperature gets above 37, the doctors are very worried about it. There's been conditions in the past where there's been muscle breakdowns, etc., as a result of it, so they're really worried about it. The organisers have taken special steps. There's ice buckets and tubs down in the Stingo's recovery area. We've got showers everywhere. We've got a giant generator and fan down there, as well as truckloads of water. So they're going to need it. It's going to be a tough day at the office today.
Absolutely. Only the fittest athletes in the world would dare race on a day like today. We've got them right here, the men from Uncle. We'll check the adjusted points for you right now as we head off into round number 6. Trevor Hendy, of course, take a look at that lead. What a sensational season. Good to see Dwayne right up there as well.
Well, that's right. And these are adjusted points, which means they can drop their one worst result after 5 races. So Hendy, in fact, has a perfect score on 140, which is just extraordinary. Dwayne Thies, Guy Andrews, Michael King, Hayden Reese doing very well, and there's a chance today, Andrew Meikle. We've got Simon Martin, the young qualifier, right down there through to Murray Cox, who we thought might have been a little higher than that. Corey Hutchings, the New Zealander, down to Jonathan Crowe, who's hanging on in 21st, coming back from a rib injury. John Robinson making a big comeback. The 35-year-old Mark Bennett's still hanging in 28th. And, of course, Joshua Blair, one of the youngest, or the youngest competitor in the field, down to Brent Payne.
Now, of course, these points translate to money, translates to dollars. So let's check the money earned from the top 10 competitors so far. Take a look at this, and there's some big money up for grabs. Trevor Hendy, a happy bank manager.
He sure is. Well, there's $575,000 in total, and, of course, the big prize pool is still to come. But after 5 races, that's where it stands with Hendy with the lion's share after winning 4 races. And Andrew Meikle, down there on 10,920 in 10th position, is also doing quite well.
Yeah, not bad for a day at the beach. A couple of hard days at the
tough
beach.
Day.
Okay. There's some very magical moments when the Uncle Toby Super Circus arrives in town, and no one gets more excited about that than the young boys and girls who absolutely idolise these supermen of the surf. Here's Grant Kenny.
Thanks, Larry. Well, one of the bonuses of the Uncle Toby Super Series travelling all around the country is that the competitors get a chance to put something back into the sport they love. And that's why I'm here with these kids, because in each of the states, the competitors give up their own time to conduct clinics with the juniors. Since round 5 in Portsea 2 weeks ago, the Ironmen have held clinics in Adelaide and now here at Scarborough Beach in Perth. The team, headed by Russell Green, have instructed thousands of youngsters throughout the country since the inception of the Uncle Toby Super Series.
It's a lot better to be under the water than sort of halfway. because that's when the waves clean you up and drag you back into the beach.
The juniors in each state receive expert tuition from the sport best. This week, Corey Hutchings and the inform Andy Meikle lent their support to the cause.
Same thing again out the back.
These clinics help the juniors not only learn more about the sport and the skills involved, but in turn the greater knowledge helps many of them stay in the sport past the junior stage. The kids really appreciate the expert advice, and best of all, they appear to enjoy every moment of the clinic. It also gives the sport's future champions a chance to meet their heroes and gain that extra incentive to work on their skills. And as always, after a hard day's work, all that energy has to be replaced.
We've got tons of them.
And of course, now that they're all experts, they've all got their own ideas on who's going to win.
Toby Hendy.
Why is that?
Because I want him to. I reckon Hayden Reese will, because he's pouring really well lately. Jonathan Crowe.
Any reason?
Because he's really good and he did really well at Fotsy. Corey Andrews.
Why is that?
Because he's got strong legs. Guy Lake.
And why is that?
I think he's cute.
Oh, really? And that's a good enough reason for winning a race, isn't it? Let me tell you a very quick story. Many, many years ago on a Gold Coast beach, a young boy watched Grant Kenny run past and said, one day I'm going to be an Ironman. That young boy's name was Guy Leach. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Scarborough. We're set for a fabulous race today. As always, our very own Australian Ironwoman champion, Carla Gilbert, joins us in the commentary box today. And Carla is down on the beach right now. Good afternoon, Carla.
Thanks, Larry. Today's flat conditions is going to mean a real hard slog for the competitors. Tactics will play a major part, with most competitors wanting to stay with the lead pack most of the way, leaving the run leg to decide the race. Before race one, we caught up with some of the competitors and asked them about their tactics and thoughts.
I think I've got nothing to lose now, so I'm just going to go for it and just, you know, take it out as hard as I can and just see how I hang on there. I think I'm pretty fit now.
Especially in the races where it's flat, you've got to be in the front from the word go, otherwise it's very hard to catch up. And so I'll be looking to really build on the first leg of all the races.
I'm keen, you know, it's a race that sort of suits me, but in some ways it doesn't suit anybody. It's so hard.
Well, it's going to be really close racing. I think a lot's going to really hinge on the run. So I think it depends how much work you've got to do. If you miss the start or whatever, you may do each race quite tough.
But these conditions here do hurt me just like everyone else, just because everyone thinks Leachy's good in some of the flatter conditions when it's really, really hot. Doesn't mean that I'm not hurting like a dog out there like everyone else.
Well, I think I can go pretty well this weekend. I'm still on a high from coming second at Portsea. I've done a lot of training in between Portsea and this weekend, so I hope I can do well, and there's no waves to knock me off either.
The surf being so small, you won't really be able to get away in the water legs. There'll be a lot of dragging going on, and the only time you can really make a move is on the run leg, so I look at it like a good race.
Anyone's got a good chance. I mean, it depends on how you feel on the day, really. I mean, you wake up feeling good or you can wake up feeling terrible. So, I mean, you just got to play by ear and do the best you can on the day.
Yeah, best you can on the day is going to be a very tough call today. As we've already spoken about, plenty of extra medical precautions taking place. Our expert medical team will be certainly working overtime today as the temperature is expected to climb into the high 30s. Going to be very, very hot. Let me tell you about a guy called Dwayne Tyers. Now, he has spent a lot of time in the winner's circle over the summer of 93-94. But behind that permanent smile, there is an almighty fighting spirit. Terry Kennedy has this report.
Ever since he can remember, the beach was a second home for Dwayne Tyers. Brought up on a steady diet of surf and sand, his rise to the top always seemed a natural, healthy progression. He joined the Nippers at age 5, and 25 years later, his enthusiasm for the sport still bubbles.
It's a sport that, you know, we love. I've been doing it. I joined the Nippers when I was 5 years old. Progressed through the surf club, I've done my patrols, the whole bit, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Except maybe playing drums for a rock band on a world tour, or even taking on the likes of Nigel Mansell behind the wheel of an Indy car. His aggression in the surf certainly flows over to the racetrack.
The first motor race I did was the Adelaide GP, and won that celebrity race, and won that by about 25 seconds. And then the next one I did was the Indy, the celebrity race, the Indy down here, and rolled. So, whoops.
There's no doubt Tyers is a likeable larrikin, the joker in the Ironman pack.
Everybody's got a little bit of larrikin in them. Dwayne might have a little bit more than most, but you know, I'm a normal male, you know, and I go out with my friends, and, you know, a beer's not out of the question.
If anything, Dwayne is a survivor. Born in Adelaide, he now calls the Gold Coast home and loves every minute of it.
It's nice, this is what it should be every day.
A world Ironman champion in 1983. He's an Uncle Toby's original, although he nearly gave the game away.
Considering a couple of years ago, I was getting 14ths and 12ths and stuff, and I was just thinking, I was scratching my head thinking, well, it could be time to sort of look at another career, and retirement was right there.
Thoughts of retirement are now the furthest thing from Dwayne Tyser's mind. In fact, he believes his best results could come within the next 5 years.
It's very pleasing to be to know you can improve at 30. I'm going to be 31 in a couple of months, and that's nice to know that I can improve.
And improve he has. Second on the overall points ladder, he's now looking at his best ever season and dreaming of that elusive day he knocks his best mate Trevor Hendy from his pedestal.
And wouldn't that be a terrific day in the Thighs history? He's put in a fabulous effort across the season. And Dwayne's not the only one going for the big win. It could be you. In a matter of weeks, you could own a brand new, a shiny new Daihatsu Feroza. Here's how.
Now, here's your chance to win the ultimate summer fun package in Daihatsu's Greatest Moments competition. Vote for your favourite moment, and you could win the fabulous Daihatsu Feroza, complete with a wild thing for the water. The powerful new four-wheel drive Daihatsu Feroza has the strength, performance, and looks to go anywhere. Daihatsu Feroza in hardtop, soft top, and wide track. The four-wheel drive Ironman Guy Leach drives. Plus, the wild thing, the go anywhere fun boat that lets you get wet and wild with the big boys. Right throughout summer, we're giving you the chance to win by telling us which of these three great Ironman action moments is the greatest. Choice 1. Who could ever forget Guy Leach's courageous win on the Gold Coast in 1989, when after 4 hours and 23 minutes of toil, the headlights of our beach vehicles showed him the way home to victory. Choice 2, Manly 1989. And in the biggest surf ever seen in the Super Series, our Supermen of the Surf braved the elements, with Sean Kenny winning in courageous style. Choice 3, with last year's series still wide open, the final race at Manly saw Guy Andrews fight off a challenge from Sean Kenny in a sprint to the line to win the title and take away Trevor Hendy's crown. Just vote on the 0055 number for your choice, and our judges will announce the winner during the final event of the series at Manly on February 12, 1994. It's as easy as that. Vote for your favourite moment now. And remember, you can enter as often as you like in Daihatsu's Greatest Moments competition here on 10.
And today is your last chance, so go for it. And we will be back for round six of the Uncle Toby Super Series from Scarborough right after this. There is Fremantle just down the road, but here at Scarborough, the sands are set to sizzle, and I mean that quite literally. Here's Tim Bailey with the weather.
It's quite incredible down here, Larry. The soles of my feet are burning. The pertinent information as far as the Stingo's weather report goes, 37 degrees today. There's no swell to speak of. It's toe tickler material, 0.5 of a metre, 21 degrees in the water, and I think that's where the boys are going to be the most comfortable today. We've got light easterly winds. Anywhere else in Australia, that'd be onshore. Here in the west, of course, that's offshore. A glorious day. Some like it hot. Larry.
Tim, thank you very much. Keep that hat on real hot today. Nice day to be close to an air conditioner. Yesterday was just as hot, and the semi-finals were just as torturous. Here's Terry Kennedy.
Thanks, Larry. In the beginning, there were 30 Ironmen. By the end of the semi-finals, only 20 remained. In stark contrast to Portsea 2 weeks ago, the conditions were dead flat. But the temperature was sizzling, and so too was the pace in semi-final number 1. Former champion stillwater swimmer Craig Riddington was the man out in front in the opening leg, but the pack wasn't about to let him get away. Guy Leach, Trevor Hendy and Guy Andrews were always handy. Michael King was the big mover on the ski, while the big names continued to keep a close eye on the opposition. In conditions tailor-made for Leach, the round 2 winner set his sights on a confidence-boosting victory. King stayed on well, while Hendy, Andrews and Jonathan Crowe also easily qualified. Not so lucky, Craig Riddington, after leading on the swim. Today's final may well be decided in the run league, and 2 of the best runners in the field, Murray Cox and Hayden Reese, clashed in semi-final number 2. The swim was first up, however, with American champion Craig Hummer making the pace along with Craig Hackett. Olympic gold medalist Clint Robinson was last out of the water on the swim, but he quickly made up ground on his favourite leg, the ski. But Hummer was proving a worthy opponent, while Dwayne Tyers, Simon Martin and John Robinson made sure they kept in touch on the board. Once on the burning sand, Rees and Cox came into their own. Rees leading the field home, with Cox making up plenty of ground to easily qualify. Tyers, Robinson also made it through, while Dave Foyster was the major casualty, along with Corey Hutchins and Graham Bruce.
And after those gruelling semis, we have arrived at a starters list that looks very much like this. We are looking at, of course, the top Ironmen in the country, perhaps in the world, Mick.
Yes, and most of the seeds have made it through, not surprisingly, in flat conditions. Guy Andrews, Trevor Hendy, Guy Leach, who's a big chance today, Jonathan Crowe, Brett Tyke, Scott Thompson and Murray Cox are the first 8 competitors. Dwayne Tyers having a wonderful season, Andrew Meikle, Craig Hummer, Hayden Rees, another big chance today, Clint Robinson, Mark Bennett, Craig Hackett in number 19, John Robinson, Michael King, Simon Martin, Drew Blatchford, Grant Wilkinson and the 18-year-old Sean Rowe.
Now, as we take a look over the course map, let's explain to you exactly how round 6 of the Uncle Toby Super Series is going to look to you. Of course, Mick, there was chat that this was going to change due to the heat wave.
Well, that's right. At this stage, we're going ahead with the course as planned, and it's 4 separate races. It's a quadrathon. Each race has all 4 disciplines, swim, board, ski and run. The swim cans being those inside boys with the blue line, the middle line there, the yellow, that's the board course, and the outside 3 boys with the green line are the ski course. Ski, board, swim and run in every leg. The difference being that in all 4 of the races, we double up on one of the disciplines. For example, race 1 is run first and run last with ski, swim and board in the middle. So we should have different leaders the whole time. It's going to be a very close race. I had a look at the odds, Larry, a little earlier, and I think there's going to be a couple of chances today outside of just Trevor Hendy. He's obviously even money. He's won 4 of the 5 races. I think Leach deservedly has come right in from 6 to 1 to 3 to 1 in these flat conditions. There's a big chance. Hayden Rees, I've got him in a different colour because I think he will never have a better chance of winning than today, and I'll be interested in Grant Kenny's comments on that in a moment. Guy Andrews, Dwayne Tyers is just still in great form. Michael King, I think the sand might hurt Dwayne today. Jonathan Crowe, Andrew Meikle, Brett Tyke, Murray Cox also at 12 to 1. He's outside, but I've got him in a different colour because the run will favour him, and Scott Thompson and Craig Hummer.
OK, Mick, thanks very much for that. Well, still swaying from his boat ride at Portsea a couple of weeks ago, John Holt. Nice day for a boat ride today, Holty.
Well, it's certainly a lot different than it was at Portsea a couple of weeks ago. The guys had the cold and the big wave to contend with at Portsea. Today they've got the dead flat, and it's one of those days that the Ironmen really hate. As a competitor, I used to hate days like this when you had to paddle all the way. On the return to shore, you've got to contend with the stiff easterly that Tim mentioned before. It is really, really difficult for Ironmen. They don't get any assistance from the surf, and the heat is really going to take its toll. I expect that a couple of guys mightn't even make it through the 4 races today, Larry, so it's going to be a hot day's racing.
John, no doubt about that, as we are set for a start. Now race 6 of the Uncle Toby Super Series. Grant Kenny, what sort of special precautions do we take now with the heat wave?
Well, I think the most important thing from the guys' point of view is while they're racing, as they line up there ready for the big gun, is to remember in race 1 that they've got 4 to go and not to burn themselves out too early, because it really will make a difference towards the end of the day. And of course they're all here and they've got to finish the 4 races to get the money and the prizes for today, but also the points for the ongoing series.
OK, round 6 of the Uncle Toby's Super Series from Scarborough Beach in Western Australia is underway. The pace, I think Grant Kenny might be a little slower. In fact, we've seen so many races where the pace, even in a 2-hour race, has been incredibly quick at the start, a little bit slower today. Many of the guys, Trevor Hendy, in fact, told me yesterday that he would be happy to finish in 10th place in this first of 4 races today. So it's going to be more than ever before. We're going to have a real tactical game on our hands today.
I think tactics, Mick, is the key word there, because a lot of the guys are going to find that each of the different 4 races today is going to suit them a little differently, and their tactics from one to the next race will also vary, and that'll of course depend on how their major opposition are going in each of those 4 races. So I think tactics, yes, that's the word, and survival, of course, is the other important one.
Now, the big talking point this morning is, of course, with this heat, that there's actually, while you're running along the sand and certainly out on the ski and aboard and taking those big breaths, that it's so hot, the air, that it's burning the throat on the way down.
I think it's more of just a dry. The humidity is so low here that it's just you get that dry feeling in the throat, and that's something that takes time to get out. Typically, I think the guys will find that the first of the races is usually the one that you suffer from that the most in, and as the day goes on, ironically, they may tend to cope with that a little bit better. But of course, as the day goes on, the heat of the day will increase, and of course, their body temperature will be gradually rising as they've done more and more hard work.
Well, Timmy Bailey, you've got a bird's eye view down there on the beach. They're just about to run past you for the first time. The sand very, very soft as well.
Look, we've just had Australia Day, Mick. Just picture yourself with the big eskies and the heavy picnic basket walking in sand that you slip down into your ankles in. Now, the sand is the enemy today, not only because it's soft, but it's also hot. A couple of the athletes yesterday burnt their feet on this sand, and also the reflection off the sand is really, really hot. So the sand, the enemy.
And also, Tim, you and I tried to have a little run around the course yesterday, just doing one lap on its own. It's hard just to make a lap running in this sand because it burns the calves and burns the thighs, and it's so difficult.
That's exactly right. But as I say that, Mark Bennett's the oldest guy in the field. He's gone to the front. So some people run better in sand than others, but it's an incredible leg today, this sand running. Not one person in the field looking forward to it.
No, and Grant, speaking to some of the guys, I was wondering who would take the lead because everyone I spoke to said they did not intend to take the lead. No one wanted it, and I thought if anyone does, perhaps it would be Hayden Reese, maybe Guy Leach, because they've got the ski next to come and they might like to take it out. But there's jostling going on everywhere. Murray Cox said to me he's the fastest runner. He said, I'm not going to lead. And you can see him on the left-hand side of the screen. And the person I least expected to lead is Trevor Hendy, and he's out in front.
Absolutely. Actually, I noticed with interest off the start line that both Murray and Trevor were well back in the field and seemed quite content to be there. And I assumed that they were going to sit back in the pack and just take it a little bit easy through this opening run, but that's not to be. They've both moved through quite comfortably. Leach has been in about the same position all the way. He seems quite happy, and I noticed that from time to time, as you can see now, guys are bursting out beside the pack and making a move, and basically what they're trying to do is run in the footsteps of the people in front, and that's the thing that makes it so hard to be in the front in these really soft sand conditions, is that you're breaking your own ground, and all the guys behind, as you can see, are basically in single file. Now someone's decided, that's Andy Meikle, that he's going to have another run for it. He's probably in a set of car tracks there. The sand's a little bit more compressed, and all the guys behind him are taking advantage of his steps.
Well, Grant, it's noticeable now how the pace has increased in the last 100 metres. The reason for that, of course, being that they've only got about 100 metres to 200 metres to go before they hit the skis. Brett Tyke, the Victorian, just on the outside now running hard. That pace, Grant, has really picked up because now they're look at them go now. They're now jostling for positions on the ski. Leachy on the outside's really starting to move. They're really lifting. Leachy's sprinting.
Yes, he is. He's working very hard, and I noticed Trevor Hendy's hand went out to grab a drink there too, so not far to go to get on the ski. None of them want to be on the outside of that turn as they run around. Leach has moved back up into about 5th position now, and we're looking at Hayden Reese and Murray Cox, as we expected, two of the stronger runners, but certainly nobody wanting to be back in these smooth conditions on the ski. Very important to be right up there with the mob.
Well, Grant, of course, what's going to happen now is that whoever leads, the others will just sit beside them on the wash and try and conserve as much energy as possible. Leach just getting onto his ski now. He's got a nice clean entry onto the water. You can see him then down the bottom, the left-hand side of your screen. Trevor Hendy right there on that blue ski with the gold singlet, and that's on the top of your screen Hayden Reese and Murray Cox in the top 3 or 4. So they're well positioned, and they've also conserved some energy, not going too hard. There's the better update. Hayden Reese and Cox first into the water, followed by the Victorian Tyke. Hendy was next, then Leach, then Meikle.
And you notice on the top of your picture there, that's Clint Robinson, who I would expect that by the end of this ski leg will be one of the leaders. Trevor Hendy it is that's taking the lead for the pack at the moment, but let's watch for Clint Robinson.
And race 1 continues when we come back right after this very short break. And welcome back to Scarborough. And doesn't that water look inviting? Rounding the buoy now on the way out to where John Holt is waiting for them. Holty, how are they looking?
Well, surprise, surprise. It's Trevor Hendy in front, and it's something that Michael and Grant had said we didn't expect to see. So the pace is a little bit slower than we expected. Already Clint Robinson's made his move into second place. Michael King on the outside in the red, white and blue ski. Trapped on the inside is Guy Andrews together with Guy Leach. But that first bunch, not only about 25 metres separating first to last. In the back of the pack, we've got Grant Wilkinson and Craig Hackett.
Great pictures there from the solo ski cam of Jonathan Crowe. He's using the ski camera today, and you can see the way he's twisting. Grant described to us his technique.
Okay, well, what he's doing there is he's trying to use as much of his body as he possibly can on the stroke and not just use his arms, because an awesome amount of power coming through when you drive right from the legs and all the way through. And you'll notice the guys there. I think we're looking at that's John Robinson's ski, and just behind
Drew Blatchford
is Drew Blatchford. You'll notice the rotation of the shoulders. So it's not just arm movement, it's the whole body twisting. A lot more power to be applied that way, and Jonathan Crow's certainly doing a good job of it at the moment.
So he's about the middle of the pack, in fact, probably towards the back of the pack, Grant, by the look of that. He'll need to move on himself. You don't want to get caught behind. Look at the shot there from the beach camera. Trevor Hendy right in the centre of the screen on that yellow ski. The colour is just tremendous. There is nothing in it. You can see there, that's Michael King who's the leader. So King is setting the pace. We thought that might be the case, that Michael King, perhaps one of the strongest ski paddlers in the field, Grant, and certainly he's had a great season running 4th overall, and all the others running off him.
Yeah, well, certainly has, Mick, and I'll just point out something of interest here too. As the guys approach, look at the crowd lining up along here. They're all just waiting out there. Now, that really illustrates quite clearly the sandbank that we've got across this part of the beach. Now, under normal circumstances, we've got a little bit of deeper water in here. Now, what will happen is if there's any wave at all, it's going to build up just before this sandbank, and you notice they're all really quite closely bunched. And the reason for that is no one wants to miss any tiny little wave that comes. The other interesting thing just quickly is that with these conditions, waves build up right in that very shallow water and actually move back out to sea. So as they jump back on their board after this ski leg, you might find that someone will pick up a tiny little wave. Now, it might only be 30 centimetres, but it's enough to give them a good lift back out to the cans.
Okay, we can see that's Clint Robinson on the left-hand side, Michael King behind that, and Murray Cox is right behind that, the strongest runner in the field. So Murray Cox would be delighted with his position. We've had a run, we've had a ski. They're now going into the swim leg, and Trevor Hendy is first around the Uncle Toby's banner. Clint Robinson, Michael King are the first three around. Brett Tyke and Murray Cox right behind that. They're now jumping in for the swim. Guy Leach also very, very well placed. Grant, he would be delighted with that. Dwayne Thies is up there as well.
And you can see early stages yet in the race, and of course usually at this stage in a race you wouldn't see the guys taking on fluids, Mick, but today they're actually racing towards the Schweppes dig station and grabbing that water like anything.
Well, it's absolutely essential. They've got to take water all day long. They've got to take it during the races. The doctor, Dr. Di Robertson, has instructed the Ironman that in between races, they're 20-minute races today, in between the races, they have to take something like 1 to 2 litres of fluid in between each race, which means they could well drink between 3 and 6 litres of water during this 2-hour race. Trevor Hendy out in front. Carla, you've competed yourself. Carla Gilbert has just joined us in the commentary box. Carla, you've competed in this sort of weather before. Describe to us the kind of pain you go through in this sort of heat.
Oh, it's just terrible. You just have to really take a lot of fluid in between the run legs. You would have seen even in the first run leg that some of the competitors' handlers would have been throwing them water bottles just to take a sip before they go into the ski leg. And throughout the race, they'll even be doing that in between the water legs. So it's really vital that they do take in the water, because that's going to be the telling factor at the end of the day, who's the most, who's put in a lot of water into their body, and how it's going to turn out.
Carla, there is no easy leg today, but I guess if there's anything that may be a little easier than anyone else, one that they may look forward to, it's the swim leg, because they can get away from the heat, if only momentarily.
Well, that's right. It's in the swim leg, you can probably, even though the water isn't that cool, it is a relief from the run leg. So it also gets the mouth a bit dry, but after the swim leg, they'll probably be even taking in fluids even then.
Johnny Holt just coming out to that turning point now. Guy Leach moving up very, very well.
Right on the inside, Michael. Brett Tyke and Michael King on the outside. Murray Cox in there. We've got Trevor ducked under the inside there. Craig Hummer's made his move as we predicted. Hayden Rees, your outside chance for a victory today on the inside, about 5th place. But the pace is not really on, Michael. I think they're really conserving a little bit of energy in this first race, a little bit of cat and mouse being played by everybody. Clint Robinson about 10th, I would say. So it's really not on. Everybody's sort of feeling their way, and I think that's the best tactic for a day like this.
Well, Johnny, it's interesting, though, from first back to almost perhaps second last, there's only about 15 metres separating them.
Yeah,
you think that they have a 4-minute run at the finish. It's really going to come down to the last run.
Well, I think at this moment, Michael, the pace is really not being pressed from the front of the pack at the moment. They're taking their time, and as you say, it's about 25 metres from front to back now.
You wonder whether, John, it's a good tactic. A Guy Leach is out in front. We're seeing good shots now, great shots of Guy Leach really starting to pressure. He's trying to put that pace on. But you wonder whether that's the smart thing to do. He's got 3 more races after this. If he leads all the way, which he likes to do, he's not going to get away from them, is he? They're going to sit on his watch the whole way.
Well, Guy Leach is one athlete that can apply the pressure all day, and probably in these flat conditions, Guy Leach would be thinking if he takes the pace up to the field, then they're going to have to keep up with him. And we saw in that 2-hour race at Bondi that Leach can win in these conditions when it's flat, where he keeps on applying the pressure. So maybe that's Leach's tactics for today.
Well, they're coming in towards the beach now. There's probably only about 20 metres before they hit the beach. And we can see Craig Hummer, I think, has taken the lead. And Timmy Bailey, no surprise, the American, the 8 times gold medalist, taking the lead in the swim. He's a wonderful swimmer. You can see him perfectly from your venue on the beach.
Nick worth noting, of course, that Craig was one of the guys who was really hurting after yesterday's race.
Yes, that's right. In fact, just after the semi-finals yesterday, there were 3 or 4 people, Craig Hackett and a couple of others, who were in terrible pain. It took them an hour to recover from 1 race. Today they've got to go through 4, so very tough conditions. Jonathan Crowe has moved right up into the middle of this pack as well. There's the sandbank that Grant Kenny pointed out just a little bit earlier. You can see right in the centre of your screen, Trevor Hendy is waiting for a little wave there to take that through to the beach. And they're going to Craig Hummer, will probably be the only one who'll take this. He'll almost pull over the top. In fact, he's got a good little run on that. That's given him a tiny break. Guy Leach right behind him and Brett Tyack. And we're about to come around the Uncle Toby's turning banner now. They'll go onto the board and then only the run to go. So Craig Hummer will be very happy. Timmy Bailey, if you can hear me down there. Guy Leach in second, and Guy Andrews moved up very well as well.
Absolutely. Everyone taking heaps of water. They're throwing it over their bodies, and they're trying to get as much in before they get onto this board leg. I tell you what, I don't think anyone really wants to lead this race, Mick. I think everyone's sussing each other out. They realise that there are 3 races after this one. I know I was talking to Trevor before the race, and he said he wouldn't be too worried if he didn't lead the first couple of races in. He just wanted to stay in touch. And doesn't it make a difference when you haven't got a swell? Everyone as one. Just one huge pack, although Craig Hummer, as I speak, has opened up a bit of a break.
Tim, thank you very much. The cat and mouse game at Scarborough continues when we come back right after this. Welcome back to Scarborough, and we have a race that nobody wants to lead at this stage. We are watching 2 things very closely, the race, of course, and the Mercury. It's making its way into the high 30s now.
Well, I can tell you that what they are doing out there is playing into Murray Cox's hands. There's no doubt about that, because they are he's in the middle of that board leg there. He might be in 7th or 8th position, but he's only about 3 or 4 or 5 seconds off the lead, and he will fly past them in the run, which is still to come. So unless someone at the front can really lift that pace, Murray's going to go past them. Trevor Hendy is also a very good runner, and he'll be in there as well. Dwayne Thies knows he's sitting up there on the wash of Trevor Hendy, just trying to do the work, let Trevor do the work at the moment. Craig Hummer sitting there as well, but they'll be looking behind them, worrying about the fast runners like Scott Thompson, Murray Cox and Guy Leach, because once they hit the sand, it will be then a sprint to the finish line. Remember, there is about a 1 kilometre run still to go once they hit the beach, and look at that. There's now 3 guys who have dropped off the pace, and all of them, the rest of them, are right there.
And you can see now this is a shot from Grant Kenny on the solo ski cam, and Grant we'll have a chat to Grant in just a sec. But terrific shots there, crystal clear water, and just the boys would be hoping for a little bit of relief, but the water's not that cool, as we've already mentioned. And Carla, I just want to know about different preparations for this race as opposed to Portsea, where it's freezing cold. I mean, how do you possibly prepare your body for that?
Well, maybe before the Portsea race, some of the guys maybe wanted to put on a bit of weight to insulate their body for this race. I suppose it's just a matter of keeping cool, taking the fluids in between each leg, and just hoping that you don't blow up after the first race and letting all the lactic acid build up.
And Carlo, the pain you also in this sort of heat, the head throb is also almost impossible to bear, isn't it, as the race goes on?
Well, that's right. I also noticed before Trevor Hendy was lying down. I think that was to give his legs a bit of a break before the run leg. So that might give him a bit of an advantage, I don't know, but they're all kneeling up now. They're trying to get a good lead and maybe break away from the pack for this final run leg.
Well, there's about 5 on the front wave. There's Guy Leach right in the centre, so he's going to be very hard to beat in this final run leg. Murray Cox right behind them also. Dwayne Thies first off, so He'll go for this, that's for sure. Timmy Bailey, you've got a great view down there as they come around. Guy Leach right there. Michael King back in about 7th position, but Murray Cox is only 5 seconds off the lead, and he'll be very tough to beat.
A little bit of sensation there. Hayden Reese was actually first to the beach. He got up to start running and ran into a handler who was in his way. He lost about 6 places. That's quite incredible. We have to keep those handlers out of the area. But the boys now, it's the business end. This is where it gets incredibly tough. And as I said before, these guys are running in sand that just covers your ankle. You sink to your ankles in it. It's not unlike quicksand. And the thing with it is, it's unforgiving. And when the guys try and put a sprint on, as they will up by the Uncle Toby's finishing line, they look like they're not even really going all that hard. They just can't make forward progress through this quicksand.
And of course, Tim, when you think that if your resting pulse is, say, 60 or 70 beats a minute, when they came onto this last run, their pulse may have already been up at around 160 beats a minute. I mean, it's probably going to go up towards 190, 200 beats a minute right now.
That's exactly right. And as you're saying, Mick, the head throbs. A lot of the guys are complaining of that. With the heat, with the hard work being done by the legs in the soft sand, we're going to have some crook boys, I think, at the end of race 1, let alone race 4.
Well, it's just absolutely fascinating, Carla, the way that they're all in single file. Murray Cox now moving around on the outside. He probably wants to move up into a better position. If Murray leaves his sprint till the finish, Trevor could beat him in a sprint finish, Carla.
Well, that's right. Although Trevor's leading the pack here and everyone's running in his feet, so Trevor's doing most of the work here, and Hayden Reese just moved up, and you can see another pack also leading onto the left of the pack. So there's another person also moving through the field, so it's just going to be a real sprint for the finish, and it's going to be really interesting.
So we're about the halfway mark of this run now, Carla, and as you say, the pace is going to hot up for sure over the next 400 or 500 metres. I'm really surprised to see Trevor out in the front doing that sort of work. You know him as well as anyone. He normally never goes out and leads. He likes to come from behind.
Well, no, that's right. It must mean that he's feeling okay, and he's quite confident to go out and lead. But Guy Leach, he's sitting in Trevor's feet there. I'm not sure if Guy could take over Trevor towards the finish, but I'm sure people like Murray Cox and Hayden Reese will sure be in there.
Thank you, Carl. Mick, just a little observation. We've seen these guys run in the most amazing conditions and always come up looking terrific. This, to me, looks like it's actually happening in slow motion.
Well, isn't it incredible? It does look like they're doing it easy, but let me tell you, their pulses would be close to 180, maybe 200 beats a minute. If you consider that your resting pulse is 60 or 70, then, you know, you've got to understand their thighs will be burning, their calves are burning, they're screaming for air. The muscles are screaming for oxygen right at this stage, and they're just trying to hang it together. Some will be feeling worse than others. No doubt Dwayne Thies back there, who is one of the most courageous competitors you will ever see. He is really doing it tough. Murray Cox has moved up into 2nd position, and I think that he will put on a sprint from here. You can see there goes Murray Cox now, so he's taken over, and it looks like Hayden Reese is trying to go with him as well. So it is Murray Cox who has taken the lead. Trevor Hendy's coming with him, so it's going to be very, very close. It's Murray Cox who's got about a 2 or 3 metre lead. Leach it is, in fact, that's going with him. Look at the way that Leach looks like he's going up and down on the spot. He's really putting in a sprint, and Murray Cox is in front. Leach is right behind him. They've got about another 200 or 300 metres to run, and they're really hurting at this stage. Cox will probably get this one. He's having to lift even further. Leach is giving him a hell of a run. Murray Cox sprinting towards the finish line. Leach coming at him, but I don't think he can get him. Murray Cox and Trevor Hendy sprinting towards him. Hendy coming after them. So Murray Cox will take up the first one. Trevor Hendy's come through in 2nd. Guy Leach in 3rd. There's nothing in it all the way back. That looks like Hayden Reese has come across in 4th. Brett Tyke in 5th. Craig Hummer very well in 6th. Scott Thompson in 7th. Michael King, a great effort in 8th. There's Guy Andrews in 9th, along with John Robinson and Andy Mickle. Jonathan Crowe crossing in 11th. And, well, I tell you what, there's Drew Blackford just crossing the line now, and Dwayne Thies, unfortunately, just suffers in the run legs and dropped off a little bit towards the end.
And let's go down now to Tim Bailey with winner of race 1, Tim.
We'll play this one by ear. I'm not sure if Murray Cox can talk to us. An incredible run leg, Murray. How hard is it in that sand?
No, it's real hard, Tim. I don't know how we're going to go the rest of this day. You know, I was going to try and take a leaf out of Trevor's book today and just do a lot of wash riding in the surf, and I did that. But the boys are really out to have a go on the beach, and it's not going to be easy.
That's race 1. I mean, by race 4, how are those legs of yours feeling?
I don't know. Ask me later.
Is it the toughest sand circuit on the Uncle Toby's?
Yeah, the sand's really soft, and it's really hot too. It's, you know, yesterday in the heats, by the end of the run, you know, your feet are just burning like as if you've been walking on a road.
All right, Murray, congratulations. Go and have a spell. Murray Cox, winner of race 1. The bad news for him,
3 to go.
Yeah, Tim, exactly. Listen, thank you very much for that. Of course, Murray, the best runner in the pack, when he's panting like that, we know we've got a seriously tough race on our hands. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Scarborough, where the best Ironmen in the world are battling dangers like heat exhaustion, blistered feet from the burning sand. One race down, 3 to go in round 6, and Tim Bailey's down on the starters line. How's it looking, Tim?
I'm actually in the Stingo's medical tent, Larry, with someone as busy as the Ironmen today, Dr. Di Robinson. Temperatures approaching 37 degrees. A danger?
Yes, we're worried about the boys when the temperature's up around body temperature, which is 37 degrees. They can't lose heat to the environment because the environment is so hot. So their core body temperature actually increases. And then they develop an illness called hyperthermia, or heat exhaustion. And this can be quite dangerous. They get disorientated, uncoordinated, and may collapse. And in the worst case scenario, their muscles melt down and end up with renal failure.
Thanks very much, Dr. Di. Back to the starting line right now.
Tim, thank you very much. Race 2 about to get underway. Mick, we start off with the swim, board, run, ski, and then the swim again.
Boy, muscle failure. That's muscle meltdown doesn't sound too good, Larry, does it? I'm glad we're up here.
Muscle meltdown. Let's check race 1 results for you now before we head off into race number 2. Murray Cox, a sensational win over Trevor Hendy. Guy Leach, gee, we thought he was up there, and Trevor got him right at the end.
Yes, Trevor is always going to outkick people towards the end. Perhaps Cox is the only one that he can't beat in a sprint to the finish line. Hayden Reese, very, very good job in 4th position. Big chance today. Brett Tyke, and we have Michael King, who led early for some of the parts and dropped back. And then down to, you can see Dwayne Theiser, who was also second into that last run. He went from 2nd to 14th in the last run. Mark Bennett also moved up actually in the last run, and Simon Martin, who has not arrived at the beach and has not started in this particular race. So we're a bit concerned about Simon. We'll have more information on that later on.
All right, Mick, tell us about this swim start. So it's a different strategy completely. We saw them hold back in the run out of necessity because of the heat. What about the swim start?
This will be fast. This will be fast, just like the heat yesterday when swim was first, because they don't have to worry about the heat so much in this first leg. So they will go out very, very fast, and they'll have to look for a good position. The starter, now we can hear Rod Taylor, who's the race referee down on the beach, getting them into position and ordering them up onto the line where he wants them. When he's happy, he'll get them off and running. It's only a short swim. It's only 4 minutes all up this swim. Therefore, that only takes them 2 minutes to swim out to the turning can. So that's only very short, 200 metres basically. They don't have much time to get into position. And keep in mind, you could be in 20th position and only be 5 metres or 10 metres off the lead, but you can't swim over the top of these guys. So very important for them to get themselves into a good position. So not far now from the start of this first swim leg. Craig Hummer, the American, 3rd from the right of your screen, ready for this start. Look at him getting set for this start. He is the fastest swimmer in the field. We saw him come through in that last swim leg and off and running in the race 2 of this quadrathon, the second race. If you've just joined us, we already had the first race, the run, ski, swim, board, run, and this race is the one that doubles up on swim. So you can see Trevor Hendy right behind the pack, very happy. It looks Carla Gilbert this time may employ the tactics we expected of him in the first race, which is to sit back and drag.
Well, he's probably picked a good swimmer there, and he's going to try and sit behind them the whole way. They'll probably wait a bit across this bank. It's fairly shallow out there, so you'll see them waiting now across that bank, and they'll also be trying really hard to get out in front because the competitors on the outer sides, they can tend to fall behind if the competitors in the middle all bunched up try to break away.
All right, Carla, thank you very much. And in our wider shots, you can see a little yellow ski off to the side. That is under the control of the masterful Grant Kenny, who I believe is attached to us somehow. Grant, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Larry.
What a marvellous piece of technology. On the solo ski cam, how are they looking?
Actually, they're not looking too bad at all. Quite bunched up, really. A couple of guys have gone out to an early lead, Craig Hummer and Craig Hackett, as expected. I'm sitting right next to Jonathan Crowe, who's taking it fairly easy on the feet of Michael King and John Robinson at the moment. So tactics for him are obviously just to conserve a bit of energy in this early part of the swim leg. Trevor Hendy's almost at the back of the pack right now, but not looking too concerned. He's swimming next to Murray Cox. He seems quite content there. He's just taking it easy, conserving a bit of energy, and I'm sure we'll see him make a bit of a move once they get back to the swim towards the beach, and he knows he's got to do that short run around to get on the board, probably his favourite leg.
Grant, how does the pace look to you? Is it fast or is it pretty ordinary?
Well, Mick, relative to my ski, it's pretty slow, but I think the guys out the front are pushing it pretty hard.
Yeah, Grant, I think if you try hard enough, you can win this one. OK, Grant, as they come around the buoy, that means John Holt's right on top of them, Holty.
Yes, it was Craig Hummer in first, Craig Hackett in second, and Sean Rowe is a young athlete who I really like. He's had a hard year here in the Uncle Toby's, but in these flat conditions, he's doing well, and he's right up there in third. Guy Leach in fourth, Grant Wilkinson in fifth, Michael King in sixth, Dwayne Tyers in seventh. That was the first, and Guy Andrews in eighth, so that's the first lot. But as we've had in every race so far, there's only 20 metres separating Craig Hummer from Mark Bennett at the back of the pack.
Okay, heading towards the beach now, and that is Craig Hummer in front with Craig Hackett. Remember, just on the left-hand side of your screen there, Craig Hackett, who is a former Stillwater national champion and also an Australian junior surf swimming champion, is Craig Hackett. Very good performer. He's 20 years of age, and from the Northcliffe Surf Club, a fantastic swimmer. He and Hummer doing all the leading at the moment.
Well, apart from being in the water, of course, on a day like today, the best thing to do in the heat is to get out of the heat. And the boys have been doing that at the wonderful Perth International Hotel.
When in the West, there's only one place to stay, and that's the Perth International, located right in the heart of the city. The Uncle Toby's troop received a warm welcome from the friendly staff on arrival. The hotel offers a complete range of first-class facilities, with Ironmen Craig Hummer, Graham Bruce and Brett Tyack making full use of the well-equipped gym. And after a hectic workout, many grab the chance to unwind in the sauna and the rooftop pool, which overlooks the majestic Swan River and the Perth skyline. Like three-time champion and series leader Trevor Hendy, who took time out from his hectic schedule to relax with the family.
Yes, a wonderful hotel. Mick, I went for a workout in the gym yesterday. There were too many Ironmen, so I had a hamburger instead. Back to the racing now and heading towards the beach.
Well, even with that fantastic pace out in front set by Craig Hackett and Craig Hummer, they just have not been able to break away. And you can see right in the middle and towards the top with that sky blue cap, that's Murray Cox, who won that first race, and Trevor Hendy right in the set, who finished second in the first race, is right in front of them. Timmy Bale, if you can hear me down there, nothing separating first and, last position. It's just almost impossible to make a break.
Well, that's it. It's a mill pond out there, Mick. They are toe tappers, these waves. There's not a swell, and everyone's just riding each other's wash. So, although Craig Hummer and the Hackett boy have gone hard, they have only got a break of about 10 metres on Guy Leach as they come round the Uncle Toby's turning buoy and get on their skis, mate. So they are doing it really hard out in front, but not getting much reward for their toil.
Well, Timmy, we saw that Guy Leach, when he jumped on the beach, looked behind, I think, to have a look where Trevor Hendy was, and he noticed that Hendy was perhaps 10 or 15 metres behind. Leach needs to go now to make a break, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, but Trevor has just looked across at Leachy, and he's going to try and tack onto a group of 4 people there that Leach is in. So Trevor Hendy, while he's behind Leach, is trying to tack onto that mob now.
Okay, heading out towards the turning mark. Remember, we've already done a swim. We're now onto the board, and the run is next, and that is where the difference is being made all day. Brett Tyack right there in the centre of the screen there with that yellow cap. There's Trevor Hendy now moving up fast. Dwayne Thies also working very, very hard. Grant Kenny, they are moving much quicker now in this board leg.
Yeah, the pace has certainly lifted up, and I've been tracking alongside of Dwayne Tyers and Trevor Hendy, two of the better board paddlers in the field. They missed that little bit of a backwash that I was talking about earlier as they jumped onto their boards, but they've been working hard ever since to climb over each of the washes that is coming off the back of the boards, and you can see Guy Andrews right next to me now taking it relatively easy.
And Grant, we noticed the flags on the beach are going a little bit dull. Has the wind dropped off in the last little while?
Yeah, there's been very little wind out here at all at the moment, Larry, and I think this might be a sign that Fremantle Doctor could be in by the time the third and fourth races come up. So certainly a few of the guys in this field will be happy about that.
Yeah, Grant, and that will make an effect on some of the others. There'll be some people in the field who don't want that wind to come up either. People like, say, Murray Cox and even perhaps Guy Leach would rather see it dead smooth.
Absolutely. Guy Leach is sitting at the moment in 5th position level with a couple of other fellas and doing it relatively easy on Michael King's backwash, but certainly these are the sort of conditions that he likes, and they're now turning around the can right in front of John Holt. So, John, you could probably call us through, mate.
I will indeed, Grant. It was Craig Hummer, and then Hayden Reese, Craig Hackett, Michael King, Drew Blatchford, Sean Rowe, Guy Leach, Trevor Hendy on the inside, Dwayne Thies on Trevor's wash, Guy Andrews, Grant Wilkinson, Brett Tyack and John Crow. They were the first 10, but it's our American friend and my young son Sean will be pleased about that because he's a Craig Hummer fan, and Craig Hummer's leading them back to the wave area now. And
Johnny, Clint Robinson also, after the swim, his worst leg is not that far behind, and you'll see with the ski still to come, he might make a move.
Well, Clint, no one's not that far behind. Mike was only about 25 metres from front to back. Clint's got his move to make, but I think all the damage is going to be done in this next run, and I'm glad it's them and not me, that's for sure.
Carla, it's we're seeing the guys. We can see a wonderful pack here. There's nothing, maybe 20 metres separating first, right back into last position. It looks like John Robinson back there. But there will be a change comes over this field once we get into Timmy Bailey. You might be able to answer me better. When we hit the sand, that is when we're going to see the change come over this field. The run about to start.
Well, I'll tell you what, someone who might know a bit about that is one of Scarborough's favourite sons, Kenny Vidler. 20 Australian surf life-saving titles. I think Trevor Hendy's about the only person that will come within a bull's roar of that.
Well, Trevor's actually equalled it now, and I went across and watched the national champs, and really we got together after and formed a 20s club, so we're the only two in it, really.
Tell us about this. You know this sand back the front. How hard is it to run in the sand, and will this turn the racing today?
Well, the sand really, I come from this beach, it's my home club, and really the sand is very, very soft. It's probably regarded as one of the softest sands in the country, and it makes it very tough and you bog right down in it, and it's very hard, but it's also very hot as well, so very tough to run in it.
37-degree heat. Do you get it a lot over here? Did you race in it? What's it like?
Well, it's hard. We get it a lot over here, especially January, February, and into March, and very hard with the easterly, where it's very calm, dead flat, and you don't get any assistance from the water, so you're just going. You've really got to tough it out, so you can overheat and you've got to really watch it.
All right, here they come now, actually, Kenny, just about to hit the beach. We see Hayden Reese in front. He's paddled, he's up on his board this time. They'll start this run. Who's your tip, mate, as Hayden goes past us? And Dwayne Thighs in front.
Well, I think I like Dwayne because he's having a great year in that, but Trevor Hendy's just having such a good year that it's both of them in first and third there right now. So I think Trevor.
Thank you very much, Ken, playing it safe. Good on you, Cobber. Back to you, Larry.
Tim, thank you very much. And there is a man who would have inspired many of these boys here today. We're coming back to Scarborough right after this short break. Welcome back to Scarborough, and from the comfort of our air-conditioned commentary box, I can see by the look on their faces the muscles are burning and the feet are blistering. They're getting it inside and out, Nick.
Well, that's for sure. There's the better update. Mark Bennett's the 35-year-old from Southport, the oldest competitor in the field, has taken the lead. Isn't it great to see? Murray Cox has moved up to second. Trevor Hendy hanging in there ominously in third position. You can see Craig Hummer there just about to come round. And also Hayden Reese in fifth. And we can see Guy Leach was there as well, along with Dwayne Thighs and Brett Tyke, Scott Thompson, Michael King, Jonathan Crowe. We've got Sean Rowe, Meikle, Andrews a long way back along with Grant Wilkinson, but there's nothing in it. There's still nothing in it. Timmy Bailey, there's only about 50 metres from first back to 10th position, but once they start swimming, I mean, the next leg of ski, once they hit the water, there's only going to be 5 or 10 seconds separating them.
They'll be pleased to see the end of this sand, Michael. And look who's leading them up. The old workhorse, former soft sand world champion runner, Mark Bennett. 35 not out, thank you very much. And look at him. Go, Benny. Go, Benny. He just had a laugh with me there. That's the sort of fella he is. He must be hurting so much, but there's always a grin on his face. Well, I hope he wasn't telling me to get out of the way.
We've seen some big moves happening in the back. Guy Leach just sprinted around from about 8th position and moved up into 4th, tucked right in behind Trevor Hendy. Murray Cox in second there. Mark Bennett's in the lead, but they haven't spread-eagled this field. They've only got about another 50 metres to run, if that, before they jump onto their skis. And there's nothing in it. This race is just, it's still wide open as we see Guy Andrews making a big move. But Bennett's will be first onto his ski. Murray Cox right behind him, and Trevor Hendy right there as well. Leachy would love to try and make a break here. He would love, in 4th position, Leachy moving very quickly. He's moved right alongside Trevor Hendy there. These changeovers now, all important. They've got to get onto the skis, drag them into the water, get on and go very quickly. You can see the urgency there in Guy Leach as he grabs his ski. Dwayne Thighs, he's got the run out of the way. Now that's great, Carla, for Dwayne Thighs. His worst leg's out of the way, and he knows it. So you can look at him go. He's really moving.
Well, also, I think just then he saw a backwash and he really rushed to get onto his ski and try and get onto it. But you might see also Craig Hummer. If he can stay up in this leg, and I think he's a fairly good ski paddler, I think he'll be up there at the end of this swim leg with a very good result.
Well, you're right. He finished 6th in this event overall last year with the swim last leg, so it's going to be a swimming race to finish this one. Trevor Hendy out in front. Murray Cox at number 8 on the right-hand side of the screen. He's a good swimmer as well. But Craig Hummer, the Stars and Stripes cap of America. There's Craig Hummer right in the centre of the screen with the number 12 on the back of his shirt. He's the guy who knows he can win from here. He's the strongest swimmer in the field. We're coming towards the closing stages of race number 2 with the swim to go after the ski. There's the solo ski cam of Jonathan Crowe. Crowe is back in about 10th position, and you can see the work he's doing here using the big muscles in the back to try and twist that ski forward. The pace is moving on as we've moved through this race. I think it's been a very smart race, Johnny Holt, as they head out towards you. It seems to have been a very smart race from these guys. They've taken a little easier to start, and they're all working into it now, and the pace does seem to be lifting.
Yeah, well, I think it's getting out of the business end. We've got those guys, noted swimmers like Hummer and Leach are the ones to watch in this, and I think that we'll just have to see how this race goes. There's really a lot more pressure on now, Larry.
Okay, John, thank you very much. Well, as they head off, a great shot from the solo ski cam. Let's take a look now at the ski paddle, the mechanism behind the boat.
Well, the paddles they use on the skis have undergone significant technological change in the last couple of years. This white paddle in my right hand, that's called the offset blade. Until 3 or 4 years ago, this is what everybody used. Then there was a dramatic change. The sport of kayaking internationally brought this blade in my left hand, the black one, into play. This is called a propeller. It's made of carbon fibre, which is very stiff and I might say very expensive as well. And look at the difference in the surfaces of these two blades. The dark blade, the propeller, is scooped out and it pulls much more water. It's also much more difficult to use and your technique really needs to be perfect. But let me tell you one thing, if you haven't got a propeller, you're not going to feature in the race.
Okay, Mick, thank you very much for that. And one man who can handle this paddle better than anybody else is this man, Clint Robinson. Unfortunately for Clint, he's just hit the water at this late stage. He's on his way out as the other boys are on the way back in.
Well, he's a minute 15 behind, so the run has really knocked him around. What you have to remember with Clint Robinson is that he is so big. He's about 90 kilograms, and he is so big compared to the rest of the field. When he hits that soft sand, it is just torture for him. So there's the rest of the pack there, and we've got one straggler 1 minute 15 behind. Remember, the swim is still to come, so that's going to be terrifying for poor old Clint's got to go through that. It will be hard for Clint, I think, to keep going for the rest of this day. The heat has taken its toll. But back to the leaders, you can see in the centre of the screen, Trevor Hendy, once again, Carla Gilbert has taken to the lead, heading towards the beach. Dwayne Thigh sitting on his wash. Dwayne's got to be a threat here too, Carla.
That's right. I think Dwayne's going to be trying to stick with Trevor, and I think Trevor will be trying to get a break here. And if he can keep up there, he'll try and tag on to a pool swimmer that can carry him around the course and maybe just do a really good sprint towards the end.
Carla, they know in a matter of moments now, in a short matter of time, the heat will start to affect them. They've got a long way to go, and there's no waves to help them out. So strategically, when do you make a break in a race like this?
Well, in the water part of this race, it's really hard for a competitor to pull away in their specialised discipline. So it's only in the run leg that they can really pull away, and that's where it's the hottest and the hardest to do it. So in the water, as I said, it's where all the competitors stick on each other, and they just have to really sprint and just put in that a real lot of extra effort.
And Timmy Bailey, they're just about to hit the beach and run around the Uncle Toby's flag. Back out to sea for the swim. Craig Hummer in third position is looking red hot.
Michael King first onto the beach, followed by Trevor Hendy. Then we've got that's Brett Tyack and Dwayne Thies. I think we might see a bit of the old Surfers Paradise teamwork happening here between Hendy and Thies. But there goes Craig Hummer. He's in touch. He's the best swimmer in this pack. I think he's the man to watch. Although Trevor Hendy is porpoising beautifully in the water at the moment.
So Trevor Hendy perhaps is going to have to try and make a break. Certainly Dwayne Thies will try and stay with him on his feet there, Tim.
That's exactly right, and that looks to be the exact case, Mick. Dwayne Thies is tickling the soles of Trevor Hendy's feet, but they're trying to catch Michael King, who's got his head down and going hard.
Well, he's a good performer, Michael King, as well. He's a great performer, Carla. He's been a bit of a surprise this year. As we look at the better update, King, Hendy, Tyack, Thies, Thompson, and Leach is right in this as well. Leach will move up, I've got no doubts. Back to our leader, Michael King. Fourth in this season. He had to come through the qualifier, Carla, the qualifying series, just to make it through to the series, and to think that he's up in fourth position overall, he's had a great year.
Oh, he's going very well. He's been down in Sydney training really hard, and I think that's helped him a lot. He's had right coaching and the right competitors to train with, so as you can see, he's getting the results.
Okay, the water 21 degrees, so certainly they'd be very, very glad to jump into that water and start heading out. But as Dr. Di Robinson said to us yesterday, it takes some hours for the body temperature to come back down. So they're not actually going to, whilst they'll feel some comfort, their body temperature doesn't actually lower much at all. So they're heading out towards that can. And Grant, Ken, if you can hear me, it looks like King doing a good job, but Hummer's going to be very hard to shake.
Yeah, he certainly will at this stage. King's probably got about a body and a half or 2 body lengths lead now on Tyack, Hendy and Thies. They're the three making up the second pack. But coming up very fast on the right-hand side of those three is Craig Hummer, and I would say, with the guy Leach on his feet, that by the time by the time they reach the second of the turning cans just over here, that Craig Hummer could well be in second position in front of Tyes, who's swimming extremely well, I must say.
All right, Grant, we've just got a shot actually of you now with your little helmet on. Let's explain that to the viewers. Your helmet has the transmitter that is going to the chopper and back to a satellite dish. So you're wired. Except now. We'll talk to you about it, but certainly amazing technology, and I bet Grant racing all those years ago. Can you imagine thinking, Mick, that this technology would be out there in the water with the boys? We'll get back to Grant shortly.
Well, Channel 10 doing a wonderful job with the cameras. There's something like 12 or 14 cameras out on the course, everything from skis and helmets, and we've got boats. We've got Johnny Holt actually out on the boat. They've just come past you, Johnny Holt. I can't believe how fast Michael King is swimming.
Well, I know his coach Terry Bucket, an old Clavelli man who's travelling with Michael King on the circuit, would be very pleased with this swimming performance of Michael King. It's been absolutely blistering, would best describe it. He's put about 5 or 6 metres into the other pack, and Craig Hummer's making his move now. Hendy, Leach and Thies on the outside. Interesting, you noted that Clint Robinson had gone off the back of the pack. I really think that Clint may have even sacrificed this race, this double swim race, and be content with the 20th place, knowing that he's got the double craft legs to go. So maybe this might be a tactical ploy on the part of Robinson to have one easy race on a hard afternoon's racing.
Thanks, John. There's the better update. King, Hummer, Thies, Tyak, Hendy and Leach. Now, what's happened here is on the left-hand side of your screen, Michael King has taken a different route to the beach. He's heading straight in on the left-hand side. Craig Hummer is taking the rest of the pack over to a different course. Hummer is pulling up on him with every stroke. He was about 3 or 4 lengths behind. He's no more than 1 length behind now, but it looks like King may hang on. It could come down to a sprint finish. Guy Leach is really working hard in 3rd position. You can see that yellow cap with the 2 red stripes. He's really starting to thrash. He's really sprinting a sandbank here. A little wave popping up for King. If he can get over this, it will be all over in this race. He's pushing hard, and he has got it. He's got enough on top anyway to do the job. He's got to lift his legs. There's about a 50-metre run to go. Hummer now lifting his legs as well. The points here absolutely all important. It's our second race of 4. King finished 8th in the first race today, and he's sprinting towards that finish line now. He needs top points here to bring himself back into contention. Hendy flying across the bank. It's going to be very, very close. King first to stand. He'll win this one. He'll win it comfortably. Hummer is going to get up in second. Leach really sprinting for 3rd. He needs those points. So King to come around. He's got about a 100-metre run, and King will get this first one comfortably. Hummer looking behind and starting to sprint. Leach will have to get a move on because Hendy's after him as well. Brett Tyak back in 4th. Dwayne Tye's done a great job in 5th, and Guy Andrews really sprinting. Let's have a look at these places as they cross the line. It's Michael King who'll take 1st position. In 2nd position, right behind him, is Craig Hummer. Guy Leach in 3rd. Trevor Hendy in the yellow shirt just coming in 4th. Guy Andrews come up for 5th. There's in 6th place Brett Tyak. We've got Dwayne Thies in 7th. Hayden Reese still well placed in 8th. And Scott Thompson did a good job to move up into 9th position. And that might be Craig Hackett also, I think, did a great swim to move himself up into 10th. And right behind that, Murray Cox, who won the first race, in 11th position. So he'll still be reasonably well placed overall.
And Kingy coming across the line in 21-21. Now we'll check down on the beach with Tim Bailey.
Yeah, I've got Michael King with me right now. The second one, even harder than that first little tussle, Kingy.
Yeah, it certainly was, even though the 2 run legs in the first race was really against me. I'm not a very good runner, so I was happy that we only have to do 1 run leg in the rest of them now.
What was your tactic in that race? I know that you made a break, get a little bit of space in the swim.
It certainly was. I had to have a really good ski leg. My ski's going really good at the moment, so every time I get on there, I'm trying to get up amongst the leaders and go from there.
Congratulations, sucking in the big ones. Michael King. Larry.
Tim, thank you. Kingy, congratulations to you. You just relax for a minute, and you relax as well. We'll be back shortly to Scarborough right after this. Welcome back. Round 6 of the Uncle Toby Super Series from Scarborough. Well, let's take a look inside the Stingo's recovery tent. The big man, Trevor Hendy, perhaps in pain like most of them would be. The ice is out. The ice water is flowing in the Stingo's recovery tent right now. And we'll give the guys this chance to relax as we catch up with the surf boat action. Guy Andrews taking on the ice on the shoulders. Your commentators for the surf boats, John Holt and Mick Porra. And welcome back to Scarborough, where today the boys are going to physical hell and back. They're halfway now, 2 races to go. We're on the start line for race 3. Ski first, of course. Keep your eyes on Clint Robinson, our Olympic gold medalist in the kayak department. And Mick, this is going to be a terrific race. Ski first, then that painful run again. We're off. Swim then, board, and then onto the ski again.
Well, that's right. There's race 3, and you saw how important that start was. Andy Mickle was closest to the camera. The start just terribly important. They've got to get away very, very quickly. And look at Clint Robinson on the top of the screen. It's just unbelievable how much faster he is than everybody else in the field. It's just extraordinary stuff. He's got about a 3 or 4 length lead. This is race 3. We've already been through 2 races. Let's have a look at the accumulated points so far after 2 events so far here today at Scarborough Beach. In Perth, Guy Leach and Trevor Hendy equal on 6 points after 2 races. Craig Hummer right behind them after that great effort in the last event. Michael King also on 9, now in 4th position. Brett Tyek doing very well. Murray Cox in 6th position, and Hayden Reese level with him. Andrews has moved up also. Scott Thompson. Dwayne Thies, unfortunately, his first race not so strong in 10th. And then we have Michael Hackett, Robinson and Drew Blatchford in 14th position. Mark Bennett and down to Simon Martin, who, as we said, has not started in this event today.
Our Olympic gold medalist Clint Robinson leading the pack out. A little disappointing in race 2, but he is, of course, the best ski paddler in the pack. And, Carla, is there the slightest chance that he could have been saving a little bit in the tank for race number 3, his favourite here today?
Well, I think the race before with the 2 swim legs was not into his favour, so I think once he realised that he was a bit far behind after his first swim leg in the race before, he decided to take it a bit easier because he realised that the next race did have 2 ski legs in it. And you can tell now that maybe the race before we might have thought that he had a bit of heat exhaustion, but now you can tell that he's really putting it into it. It looked like he saved a bit for this race.
And Holly, Michael King is just flying in this first ski leg in equal first position, and Trevor Hendy way back.
Well, Michael King's having an absolute blinder. Actually, as he came around the turning, boys, he put a couple of lengths into Clinton, and that's the first time I've seen that in a ski race ever. Trevor Hendy's back in about 14th or 15th place, but not a lot of space between Michael King and Clint Robinson in the back markers, Mike.
Well, King is only a couple of points behind overall in this series, and look at the lead. You can see him on the left-hand side of your screen. King doing all the work. I've never seen, as you said, all summer, anybody ahead of Clint Robinson in the ski. You would almost think it's impossible. He's obviously decided, Robinson, to sit in on King. King looks magnificent. Look at the technique. He's long, big twist. He really does look very, very powerful. What fabulous form he's in. And whilst his run is just a little bit weak, he's hung in there all day. Clint Robinson sitting right behind him. The rest of the field would not want to let King go because, as we said, he is 4th overall so far today after 2 events, and the likes of Hendy and Leach, who are leading the points today, would not want to let him get in front. He is really looking good. Timmy Bailey heading in towards you now. Michael King really does seem to be on fire.
I tell you what, this guy could have a bit of a future as a kayak paddler. Anyone that can do this to Clint Robinson's got to be a bit of the good stuff, hasn't he? He said to me during the interview after he won that last race that his ski felt terrific, and boy, isn't he showing it. We haven't seen this before, Mick. This is a bit of a novelty. Someone serving it up to the golden boy on a kayak.
Okay, we've just had word, Tim, also that Guy Leach's rudder is stuck, and so that is... Oh, there he is, Guy Leach. His rudder is stuck. So he's struggling through to the beach, and that...
Look
Leach
at that.
just one thing after another tends to happen to the guy. He's paddling on one side because his rudder is turned and pushing him in a different direction. So Leach in all sorts of trouble. Last year in this race, where Leach finished 3rd overall, he snapped his paddle in half, and that cost him perhaps a first place. So Leach in the wars again. It seems to be one thing after another for him. Jonathan Crow right up there, as is Tyek. Hummer doing very well today, and Grant Wilkinson. Hendy coming around the flag now. Craig Hackett, John Robinson and Dwayne Thies there. Guy Andrews, Scott Thompson, who's pretty well placed. He'd want to move on. And Hayden Reese is a bit far back than he'd like to be. Andy Mickles there. We can see right there is Murray Cox. So we're going into the run leg now. Sean Rose just turned as well. Murray Cox has given these leaders a fair bit. He's going to have to move to get up to them again. Going to be a tall order, Tim Bailey, for these guys to pick up those leaders, but it's a 4-minute run, and it's just getting harder and harder.
Yes, it is, and the look on their faces tells that story. But can I just go back down to Guy Leach? He's still not out of the water yet. He's paddling right across to where a big crowd of people are giving him a hand. His rudder's broken. He's about to get off. How much bad luck can this bloke have? He's doing it hard, paddling on one side. Here he is. He's up. He's out of the water. Unbelievable. Fate is against him. He's thrown his paddle in disgust. He's an angry man, and what would it be, Mick?
Well, that's just terrible bad luck. I mean, I don't know how that happened. We'll probably find out later, but you saw when his foot was actually right down on the right pedal. The rudder is obviously either snapped or jammed, and he wasn't able to steer the ski correctly. There's nothing he can do about that. It had nothing to do with his skills. It was purely bad luck. But Leach was equal first with Trevor Hendy going into this, so things look like they're playing into the hands of Trevor Hendy again.
Well, this is certainly the leg separating the men from the boys today at Scarborough, the run leg on the sizzling, blistering sands here. Now, let's give you a bit of a better idea how tough this actually is.
Sometimes just walking from the water's edge up to the car park after a day at the beach on the soft sand can be really tiring. Imagine how tough it is for the Ironman trying to run in that soft sand, and there is a specific technique. It involves running toe first and then heel, rather than what they do on the road, which is heel first, then toe. And if it's not done properly, it can really cost you some distance.
Okay, Mick and Carla, thank you very much for that. And added to the absolute difficulty of it anyway, imagine running on hot sand, like running on hot coals, and many of the guys reporting blisters on the bottom of their feet already.
Oh, yeah, very, very tough. We can see we can see Guy Andrews there with Dwayne Thies and Andy Mickle. They're back in about 12th through to 15th position. But Michael King still in the lead, and Timmy Bailey, as we look at the Vetter update, King, Robinson, Hummer, Hendy, Tyke and Crow, but they are hauling him in, and doesn't Trevor Hendy look great?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I was going to say. Next, Mick, you took the words right out of my mouth. The pack being led by Craig Hummer, chasing those two leaders. Big Trevor loping along. Gee, he runs well in the sand, the big bloke, and no one can put a sprint on like him when it gets to that finish line. So he's the man. I think they might reel Michael King and Clint Robinson in.
All right, Tim, and just sort of coming past you now is a very, very unhappy Guy Leach heading towards you. Very, very angry, but we've seen him perform well when he's cranky, but I don't know if he's just too far off the pace this time around.
Well, this is just one race. Now, I don't know. He might just have to reserve his energy and have a blinder in the next. Here's Leachy now. I'll tell you what, I'd like a penny for his thoughts. You saw the way he threw the paddle at the moment. He's got a look of steel. He's got an angry look. I'm glad he's going that way, Larry, not coming towards me.
Yeah, Tim, he did say during the week that this is the race he thought he was going to win. He saw in the first two races, if you had just joined us, he is equal leader after two races, and he was so determined. He performed so well on those two races, but now his chances to win today are certainly all gone. Michael King in front, though, he's doing a great job. The rest of the pack has caught them, and once again, we have the 15 or 20-man pack come right up. Clint Robinson in second position. Murray Cox now, has just moved into second past Clint Robinson, and he's moving up on Michael King. So Murray Cox, if he's going to perform today, he needs to move in this run. He can't afford to sit back. They're just about to now go into the swim. So you can see there it is. Michael King in first, Murray Cox in second position, and there are the leaders as they go into the water. And Craig Hummer, Tim Bailey, Craig Hummer going into the swim, his best leg. He's going to lead and be the first in. He's on fire.
Yeah, unbelievable. That was a great run from Hummer, and now with his thighs and his calves, they must be burning. They must almost be cramping, but he's in the stuff he likes. He's in the liquid. He's probably the best swimmer in this field, and he's hit the lead. That's a great run from him.
All right, Tim, thanks very much. Now, Grant Kenny paddling alongside the swimmers. Grant, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can, Larry. I can hear you fine. In fact, Craig Hummer, as you mentioned, has taken off at a great rate of knots. In fact, I'm just watching Michael King. He's sitting right behind him on his dragging off his feet there, and really doing it quite, as you can probably see from the shot. His hands are probably only about a foot behind Hummer's feet, which is exactly where he wants to be. But I tell you what, Hummer is really kicking it in now, and it's starting to open that gap up a little bit. So King needs to keep his head down and work hard. He's got to get a little bit more drive out of his legs, I think, just to ensure that he stays there on that. Two of them, though, have opened up quite a lead on the rest of the pack. Probably 2 lengths back now, I'd say.
OK, Grant, thank you very much. We are going to take an exceptionally quick break and be back to Scarborough. Round 6 of the Uncle Toby Super Series, exclusively on 10. Welcome back to Scarborough, and in contrast to our competition at Portsea, relatively flat seas here, and that's the reason why Rottnest Island, a kilometre or so off the coastline here, manages to keep all the swell out, and we are into the swim of things back here at the beach. Thanks very much for joining us today. We're into race 3, and of all the legs today, Perhaps this is the favourite simply because the boys are in the watercolour, if only momentarily, and out of the sunshine and that perhaps that hot air. It's not that hard to breathe when you're in the water.
No, it's not really, but you can see Grant Kenny out there next to them, and he's having a lot more easier time than what the boys are in the water.
And we're making our way up the water now. The porpoising taking place. Absolutely no assistance from any waves whatsoever today, really, Mick, and but they can try.
No, Michael King is doing a wonderful job there in second position. There's the rest of the pack now moving across this sandbank, and King, they really are playing into King's hands. The fact that he was able to sit right on Craig Hummer through that swim, and King, in fact, overall, is running in fourth position. He's only a couple of points behind, and Hummer is also right in this overall. So these two guys are a very big chance of knocking off Trevor Hendy. Hendy will stand in any second. I'm sure he's in that pack. Jonathan Crowe has done very well. He swum right through them. So Crowe stands there in third position. Brett Tyke right behind him in fourth. Done very well. Scott Thompson. Hayden Reese is up there. Murray Cox, Craig Hackett. And there's Trevor Hendy in about ninth position with Grant Wilkinson and Guy Andrews coming through. But Timmy Bailey, he's not far behind them going into his best leg, Trevor Hendy, so he's close. But Michael King, Tim, is looking good. He perhaps may be the one that throws out the overall threat to Trevor Hendy today.
Yeah, it's looking a bit like that at this stage, Mike. They've got about 15 metres. Hummer and Kingy have got about 15 metres on the pack. Trevor's running in about 10th, last spot in that second pack. But, gee, I tell you what, Craig Hummer is training the house down at Manly at the moment. Everyone's talking about him. He's bringing that form into the water here at Scarborough, and Michael King knows a good thing, and he's sticking to it in his wash at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if these boys pinch this.
Well, we're past the halfway mark in the third race today. Remember, there are 4 races all up, so there's another full race to go at the end of this one. Hayden Reese there, you can see with Trevor Hendy, the two of them trying to do the best they can. Hummer first at the moment. King, Crowe, Tyak, Thompson and Hayden Reese you can see on shot, and now obviously Trevor Hendy has moved up right next to him in 7th position. But Craig Hummer, the leader, Craig Hummer, the American, 28 years of age from LA County. He was born and bred in Ohio. He actually swam for the Ohio University. He won a record 8 gold medals at the United States Surf Life Saving Championships this year, or the Lifeguard Championships. He's in the best form of his life. He finished 6th in this race last year, Johnny Holt, and he's looking good, and so is King.
Well, his technique has improved. I just had a look at him as he came out that last 50 metres, and since he came to the Uncle Toby Series, every year he's got better. I think he enjoys being out in front, and I tell you what, I think Michael King enjoys him doing all the work. Michael King slip on the wash there. We've talked about wash riding, but King is having an easy run of it. John Crowe in third, Trevor on the inside, Brett Tyak, Scott Thompson, Hayden Reese jammed on the boys, Craig Hackett, John Robertson getting a bit of a going over, Grant Wilkinson stuck right on the can there, and then Murray Cox, so that's the first 10, and then Guy Andrews, Dwayne Tice, Mark Bennett, and then Clint Robinson. So I've called the first 15 as they've come round, Michael.
Sean, thanks for that. Guy Leach just heading into the water now. A very disappointing race, this one for Guy Leach, but he will be working his hardest, no doubt. Holty, while we've got you, I'm just watching the flags on the beach, and the reason I'm doing that, of course, we're keeping our eye out for the Fremantle Doctor.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of a change. It's coming more from the south. We certainly haven't got any of that west in it yet that the boys would like to cool the temperature down and bring some of that choppy surf into play. But it's still quite hard out here, and they've still got that little bit of easterly wind to contend with as they paddle back in after turning the turning, boys.
Well, that wind is definitely turning around, Johnny, as they head in towards the beach. It's Craig Hummer in front and Michael King right beside him. And look at King now move out to the right-hand side and try and put on a bit of a spurt. Craig Hummer still in front. The two of these guys know they don't want to take it too easy out in front because they don't want that pack catching up to them. There's the great view of Craig Hummer, not particularly low on the board, but he's improved his technique dramatically. This is perhaps his worst leg, but now he's doing it well because he's out in front and doing it heading in towards the beach. Got to go now into the last leg, which is the ski at the end of this board leg, and he's a good ski paddler, but so is King, and I think King is going to be very hard to beat this one. Hendy is dragging this pack up towards the rest of them. Hendy's in third position there, right in the centre of the screen, and Timmy Bailey here is definitely pulling up on them. There's no doubt he'll be looking for a little wave.
As the boys make it back to the beach, very close. We'll get to Tim Bailey in just a tick. And take a look at the race out the back. Trevor Hendy lying down, you can just see in the yellow singlet there. Mick just to relax the muscles, just to get a little more blood circulation before they hit the beach.
Yes, that's exactly right. He wants to get the legs moving. Very important now, the little change over here when you can see there's 6 or 7 guys on this next little wave, and that's a big advantage for them. It means they get a few seconds rest, and it really doesn't take long to be able to suck in some breath and get that pulse back down. You can have your pulse up at maybe 160 or 170, and it can drop down to 120 with these athletes because they are so fit, perhaps in only 10 seconds or so. So a little rest on a wave can make a really big difference. Just grabbing their skis now and moving out. Carla, it does look to me like Michael King. You saw how fast he was in that first ski leg. He's going to be tough to beat in this.
Well, that's right. He looks to be really in form today. You can see, I think Trevor Hendy is trying to pick up behind them, but Michael King just seems to be pulling away with every stroke. So I think he'll end up with a win in this race if he can just keep it all together.
Okay, heading out towards that turning mark now. It's great shots there from Jonathan Crowe on ski cam. Jonathan Crowe in a very good position. We've got Hayden Reese just to his left-hand side, and Hayden's still in contention for an overall win here today. Jonathan Crowe really twisting hard. He broke his ribs earlier this year, Jonathan Crowe. He's actually running 20th overall in the series after 5 races in the series so far as we came to Scarborough Beach, and certainly after he finished second overall at Portsea. He's improving very rapidly. But great bad luck for Jonathan Crowe in finishing second, but he's improved all the time, and I think he's one of the future stars of this series, no doubt. And moving out towards the turning point towards Johnny Holt. That wind starting to come up now, John.
Yeah, it's just swinging round towards the south, Michael. It's a little bit noticeable. Maybe we'll get it for the last race, but Michael King looks absolutely sensational. The ski Michael King is paddling has been designed by a Sydney manufacturer who's just been commissioned to make kayaks for the next Olympic Games. So maybe it's the flat water performance of King's ski that's giving him that little bit of edge. But he's coming round now. We've got Craig Hummer in second place. We've got Hayden Reese in third. Trevor Hendy in fourth. We've got Scotty Thompson, who's moved up into fifth place, and Brett Tyack, and looks like John Crowe are those first bunch. But Kingy, he's really putting some power onto those paddles and making a move. But Craig Hummer is taking the free ride. The exact reverse is what we saw in the board leg.
Well, John, if they stay in the positions they're in right now, with Hendy coming around the cam past you in fourth and King in first, if they finish that way at the end of this ski leg, it means going into our last leg, we will have Michael King and Trevor Hendy exactly equal on points going into the last race. What a great scenario.
That'll be a showdown. I'm looking forward to that. King has been really keen on making a big impression on this Uncle Toby series in his first year, and he's doing just that here today.
Well, he sure is. John, thank you very much. Mick, we've been talking about a thing called the Fremantle Doctor. So let's explain it to people who aren't familiar with it. What happens when the doctor comes a-calling?
Well, it's a wind that blows from the west. In other words, it blows onto the shore, and that makes it a lot easier because when the wind blows offshore, which is an easterly, it makes the water terribly flat. There's no assistance. It also makes it very, very hot. Now there's a little bit of movement under them. The water's starting to move a little bit better. And you can see that's just starting to give them a bit of assistance. We're heading in towards the beach now. There's about 100 metres to go. This is the third race of today's 4 races. Michael King out in front, really sprinting now. He's got tremendous power. There's the distance you can see perfectly. Trevor Hendy knows he would love to finish in third position, which means he'll be still a point ahead of King going into this last race. King, exactly at the moment, is 3 points behind Trevor Hendy overall after 2 races. So Michael King sprinting towards the beach. You can see him really lifting his rating now. Look at him go. He's really pushing hard. He's just dropped Craig Hummer. He's got a couple of lengths and he's pulled a little tiny wave, so that's what he needed. This will take him through to the beach. There's going to be a great sprint on for third, fourth and fifth. These points are all important. Michael King, he won the race just before this, and he's going to win this one as well. He's got about a 75-metre run, but he won't have to hurt himself too badly in this run. Michael King up first. Craig Hummer also is right in this series overall. Craig Hummer in second position, the American in the Stars and Stripes cap. Craig Hummer in second position, and we're going to have a tremendous sprint for third place. Trevor Hendy will be very difficult to beat, but Hayden Reese is also quick. Let's see who's first up here. Hendy up quickly. Also, Reese is up quickly, and Scott Thompson is sprinting with him as well. So it's King across in first position. King in first, Craig Hummer in second, and I think Hendy will get third. Thompson sprinting at him, but I don't think he can get him. Second Hummer, and Trevor Hendy really sprinting towards that finish line. So Hendy in third, looking behind. Thompson right behind him in fourth. We can see Hayden Reese coming across in fifth. Jonathan Crowe in sixth. Craig Hackett in seventh. Brett Tyack in eighth position. And it looks like John Robinson just coming towards the finish line now in ninth. And Grant Wilkinson in 10th. 11th and 12th. Guy Andrews is fighting for 11th with Murray Cox. So it's Guy Andrews and Murray Cox. I'd say Cox got 12th there and Guy Andrews 11th.
OK, well, the big question now on the beach is, can the King wear the crown today? Tim Bailey may be in a better position to answer that for us, Tim.
We won't put that pressure on him just now, but we'll just say, Kingy, you've got that ski flying.
Yeah, I did all right then. I tried to get on Clint Robinson as quick as I could. and that seemed to work. That gave me a break over the rest of the field, and I could take it a bit easy in the run leg.
Now, not too many people have overtaken Clint Robinson. You're one of them. Is it a new ski? Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, it is a new ski. Yarn from Spectrum rang me up early this year and asked me to paddle his ski, so I decided I'd give it a go, and it's a really good ski, though, I'll tell you.
Fantastic. Now we put the pressure on. You're going into this last race in front, mate. You're in front overall, so think about that. Suck in the big ones, and we'll see him next time round.
Tim, thank you very much. And there you go for one of the great understatements of the series. King, yeah, I did all right then, didn't I? You did just terrific, and we'll be back for the fourth and final race shortly at Scarborough. As the crowds at Scarborough enjoy the cooler water than certainly on the land. Now, can King beat the King? That's the question. Can Michael King take today's crown from Ironman King Trevor Hendy in round 6? We are about to find out as they take to the water.
Well, it's really come down to the business end now. This is the 4th race of today's Quadrathon series if you have just joined us. We've already had 3 races before this, and we have a fascinating scenario. Let's have a look at the accumulated points after 3 events. You will see that Trevor Hendy is in front on 9 points, Michael King on 10, and Craig Hummer on 10. Now, we've worked through the points, ladies and gentlemen. Really, it will come out of those 3. The bottom line is basically this, that if whoever is in front out of these 3 guys, whoever beats each other within that group of Hendy, King and Hummer, will win the race overall today. So it's a race in 3. King has to beat Hendy, Hummer has to beat both of them, and exactly as the head out towards that can, Hendy is in front. Grant Kenny, it's a fascinating scenario, and I think Trevor Hendy knows it. He has to beat King and he has to beat Hummer.
And we will try to get to Grant shortly. He's out there on solo ski cam. We need to link up with him, and we will do that. Trevor Hendy on your screen now.
Well, this is his best leg. He's a 4-times Australian board paddling champion, and now Clint Robinson has taken over the lead, which is exactly what Trevor Hendy would like. He can now sit back a little bit and take it a little easier, Carla. But he knows the situation, I'm sure. He knows the situation, and he would be looking out, I think, Carla, behind him to see exactly where King and exactly where Hummer are placed.
Well, I'm sure at this stage just trying to sit on Clint Robinson's wake and try and rest as much as possible. And I think on the way in he'll try and make a bit of a break. I think he'll probably look around now and see where the other 2 are. But I think he's fairly confident going into this race. And I'm sure there's the whole race. You can see who's that guy, Andrews. He's missed the boy there. So that's a bit of an upset there as well.
Yeah, Johnny Holt, they just come around past you. King is very well placed, but Hummer is a long way back.
Yeah, well, that was Craig Hackett in first, Hayden Reese in second, Clint Robinson in third, Wayne Tyers in fourth, Michael King in fifth, Sean Rowe in sixth, Brett Tyack in seventh, Craig Hummer in eighth. Then we've got Scotty Thompson, Mark Bennett on the outside of John Crow. So no, that was Craig Hummer in about 11th. So the distance is quite a deal in those placings, Mike.
Well, we can see right there in the centre of the screen on the right-hand side, Trevor Hendy in that white board. And just to his right, if you look there with the white cap and that one blue stripe, that's Michael King. So King has got Trevor Hendy covered at this stage as we have a look at a profile of Craig Hummer, 28 years of age. In last year's Super Series, he finished 12th. That was his best ever effort. 6 times USA Ironman champion and 8 gold medals at the US Lifeguard Championships. His strongest leg is swim. That is still to come in this last race. But at this stage, he's back in about 15th position and has a hell of a lot of work to do, Larry, if he's going to come through in this one.
Yeah, Mick, interestingly enough, I caught a show a while back on Channel 10. That was all about the making of that Baywatch series about American lifeguards. And in it, they actually paid tribute to this man, Craig Hummer, saying much of the series was centred around him and his mates. He is America's best and he's one of ours.
Well, he sure is. He's a great guy and a great competitor. And as I said, he's just on the left-hand side of your screen, just gone out of picture. That's him. You can see him just there with the Stars and Stripes cap. He's just moving over to the left now. He's not far out of it. I mean, he's in about 15th place, but he's very close. But the real interesting part, there's Michael King just on the right-hand side of your screen, that whiteboard. He's right on the wash of Craig Hackett. He's in about equal 3rd or 4th position, and he knows that he's a big chance, and King will be going harder than he's ever gone before. Trevor Hendy knows he's got his work cut out for him in this one. There's Murray Cox there in the centre of your screen. He's back near the tail of the field in this board league after winning the first race. This is his weakest leg. But this is a bit of a shock to me, Timmy Bailey, as they hit the beach, because Michael King, this is his weakest leg, but he is right on the tail of Trevor Hendy and has him covered.
Yeah, look, have a look at this. That's Benny. He's in front, the 35-year-old. Thysey, then Trevor, then Kingy, then Leachy, then Hayden Reese. So that's how they came out of the water. But look how tight they are, Mick. Without any swell, they all went past me in about 5 seconds flat. It's incredible tight racing today.
Well, it's amazing when you think that Murray Cox came out of the water in about 15th, but he's so close to them and you could expect him to move up. And Scott Thompson's been running well all day today too, hasn't he, Tim?
Exactly. He has been. He knows how to beach run. He's a good soft sand specialist. And I tell you what, after your 4th go at this soft sand, you'd be glad to see the back end of it, Mick, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's for sure. And there's Guy Leach, who had that terrible luck. If you've just joined us, he was leading after 2 races, Guy Leach, and had a rudder jam in the third race, which wiped him out of this series today overall, which was terrible luck for him. But you can see Trevor Hendy there right behind Mark Bennett. So there's Mark Bennett, the 35-year-old, who has led a couple of these runs. Has had a great day today as we look at the Vetter update. Bennett, Hendy, Leach, Hayden Reese, Michael King in 5th, and Brett Tyke. Craig Hummer's back in about 12th, but he's not far behind these guys. After this run, they go into a ski. We still have a race in 3. Remember the scenario. Whoever wins this race or whoever finishes highest out of Trevor Hendy, Michael King and Craig Hummer will be the overall winner, and King is right behind.
As the mercury gets very, very close to the 40-degree mark, we're going to take a real quick break and be back with you soon for round 6. Welcome back to Scarborough, where all the boys agree this is the toughest race of the series. No waves, heat wave, very close to 40 degrees on the sand. Mick, they couldn't count how many pain barriers they've crashed through today.
Well, that's definitely the case. And you can see Scott Thompson making a wonderful move on the outside. So he's moved into 2nd position. Murray Cox also moving up there into 3rd, and Guy Leach moving up as well. So there's a lot of movement now. We've got about another 300 metres to go before they hit the ski. All interest, though, on where Michael King just going out of shot then. He's in about 6th place. And there's Craig Hummer as well, just coming through to the left of the screen. So he's not far behind as well going into the ski. So very, very close. Timmy Bailey, they've just said, the report I've just got, it's 35 degrees in the shade. It must be much hotter on the sand. It's got to be over 40.
Yeah, well, the heat reflects off this sand. It's amazing, Mick. So it's quite incredible that these guys are going as fast as they can, as fast as they are, I'm sorry. Now the update down here is Trevor's in 6th spot. And Mr. King is in 8th. So Trevor's got him covered, but only just. It's going to be a great race of tactics as they get ready to hit the juice again.
Well, when you think, Tim, also that the ski is he's already shown us today, Michael King, the ski is his best leg, and that's what they're going into now.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he took ground off Clint Robinson, past Clint Robinson, so I'd expect him now to make a bit of a dash and try and stamp this race in this particular leg, Mick.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tim. I think that's exactly what he'll do. He set himself for the jump on then. No mistakes here from Michael King at all. He's lifted his rate, Tim, hadn't he, when he jumped onto the ski? Doesn't he look wonderful?
Yeah, he does, but Trevor Hendy is pretty balanced himself and putting in the big ones. He's only, he knows exactly what King's done today on that ski, and Trevor tapped me on the shoulder before he went into this race and flashed me a cheeky grin. He's full of confidence. This could be a real good dogfight. One of the best finishes, Mick, I think we've seen. I think it'll be Kingy trying to sneak ahead of Hendy in this leg, though.
Well, you can see that's what's happening. He's gone over to the left. He wants to get away from him. It's very interesting stuff. Out of shot on the left-hand side, Michael King has gone over. Trevor Hendy's on the right-hand side. You can see him right there. So Michael King, you can see him leading the left-hand pack. Trevor Hendy on the right, heading out towards Johnny Holt. It's a great tactical game, John. Michael King is trying to really make a break on the left-hand side and get Hendy off his wash.
Well, I think that King would be trying to make a gap in this ski leg. He's paddled so superbly on the single ski the whole time. And if he's going to make a move on it, this is where he's going to do it. But Trev is one of those athletes that always seems to be totally under control. I've been amazed over the years of his composure and his ability just to put the effort when needed. And I know he's paddling the single ski very well as well.
Sure is. Just about to hit your turning mark now, John. Call us the places, mate, as they go around.
I will indeed. Michael King around first. Brett Tyke on the yellow ski in 2nd. We've got Guy Leach in 3rd with Scott Thompson on the right-hand side. Mark Bennett's the present Mark Bennett, wearing the peak cap for a little bit of shade. Got Trevor Hendy then. Then we've got Murray Cox and Sean Rowe, who's doing well to be up in the top 10. Behind him, we've got John Crow, Craig Hummer and John Robinson, then Hayden Reese. So that's the first 10, but it's Michael King who's put another length into him around the turn.
Well, the way he's going, John, I mean, it might be a bold prediction, but He went into this ski leg that just started in 8th position. There's the update. King, Tyack, Leach, Thompson, Rowe and Hendy. He went in 8th position, and by the time they went past you, he was in front, and he's got about 5 or 6 lengths on Trevor Hendy. This could be where he makes the break that wins him the race today.
Well, it's really hard now because they're paddling into the breeze, so as they turn the last turning, boy, they've got to really grit their teeth coming into the shore, but King looks really strong on that single ski today.
Carla, a question for you. You know that obviously Michael King has never won a race in this series. He won the trial. He had to come through the trial just to qualify for this series. Having Trevor Hendy won so many races in the series, in fact, he's won 13 races over the years in the Uncle Toby Super Series. Michael King, I guess, thinking to himself now, gee, I've got a chance of winning this one. He must be terribly motivated right now.
Oh, exactly. He's probably idolised Trevor for so long, and now that he's competing against him and actually beating Trevor, I'm sure she's spurring him on more and more and motivating. So I think through this race, motivation will just keep him going, and he just seems to be pulling away with every stroke, and he just is very motivated, and he just doesn't seem to be letting up at all.
Well, there's a long way left to go in this race, but this man right in the centre of your screen, the 25-year-old Michael King from Mooloolaba on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, he is really powering. Now, this is magnificent to watch. He's really stretching out. Now, look at the speed. Tim Bailey, he lifted his rating. He went off the beach past you in 8th and has hit the beach in 1st. What a performance.
Yeah, sensational. He's just picked up a little swell too to increase that. So it's just a terrific effort. I don't know what he's been doing training-wise, Mick, but you couldn't put it all down to a new ski, surely. The technique looks sensational. I'd be interested to see what Clint Robertson thinks of this performance, just quietly. So Kingy turns first, chased by Leach and Thompson, and Trevor Hendy's on this next wave behind them.
Where's Hummer, Tim? Where's Craig Hummer?
Craig Hummer is, I can't see him. He's just pulling up to the beach now. So he's in about 10th spot as everyone goes mad here yelling support for the boys.
Well, there's Hummer coming around right now, so he's only about 5 yards behind Hendy, going into his best leg to swim. Hummer just jumping into the water, just diving right now. That's Craig Hummer right behind him, so he's still in this right up to his eyeballs.
You bet he is, and look, he's already on the heels of that, on the heels of Trevor Hendy now, and he'll serve it right up to him. Trevor will have a look round, he'll see the stars and stripe, and he'll think, jeepers, they've got me in front, they've got me from behind. This is a ball game.
Well, he's 25 years of age, is Michael King. He's won the Coolangatta Gold, and he's finished 2nd in the Coolangatta Gold over the last couple of years as we look at his profile. In 91 he won it, in 92 he finished 2nd. His strongest leg is the ski. We've certainly seen that today. Likes a bit of golf and surfing and reading, but let me tell you, he doesn't have too much time for that because he spends something like 8 hours a day in training. Think about that, 8 hours a day, the rest of the time sleeping and eating. He is a totally committed athlete. He's moved down to Sydney to train under Dennis Husner on his craft legs down in Sydney, and has done a wonderful job. It looks like he's a big chance of breaking right through here, but the race is still wide open. There's Trevor Hendy right on the bottom of your screen with that yellow shirt. Remember, I'll just repeat myself again, we have Michael King, Trevor Hendy and Craig Hummer. Whoever finishes highest in this last race out of the 3 of those will be the winner overall today, and Craig Hummer is certainly in this race, there's no doubt. Remember, the board league is still to come, and the board league is Trevor Hendy's strongest. I guess, Holly, as they come past you, this is now for Michael King. It's about toughing it out. He's got the lead. This is where courage really counts.
Well, I remember how proud Guy Andrews was when he won his first Uncle Toby's race many years ago, and I'm thinking King will be the same. But at this stage, he looks absolutely sensational, Mike.
John, thank you very much. We're going to take a very short break, and then exclusively on 10, we'll return to Scarborough for round 6 of the Uncle Toby Super Series. Welcome back to round 6. Now, we know better in the commentator's box to write off Trevor Hendy, but today, Mick, we just don't know. It's a real close race, and King having a sensational day.
Well, Michael King, there he is in the middle of your screen. Guy Litch right behind him, and Scott Thompson having a wonderful race here as well in 3rd position. But Michael King, he looks like the one. He doesn't have to beat, in fact, he doesn't have to beat Hendy by 2 places. He's only got to beat Hendy by 1 to win this. Sorry for that information. He's only got to beat Hendy by 1 place. So whoever wins, whoever has the highest position out of Hendy, Hummer and King will win. And right at this stage, it looks like King is really going for the doctor. Poor old Guy Leach, who jammed his rudder in the last race, is out of this overall, but he's really giving it to them in this last race. We only have the board to go. We've been through 3 grueling Ironman races in Temperatures on the beach up to close to 40 degrees, and look at the speed these guys have still got going as they come in towards the beach. That's one of the incredible parts, Timmy Bailey, when you think about it. It's been absolute torture down there. It's been hard enough for you just standing on the beach in your dark blue shirt. Imagine going through what they've gone through.
It's like having a solar panel on your back, these tents, so to speak. But here comes King, and look at the endurance athletes chasing him home. That's Guy Leach and Scott Thompson, and this just quietly has turned into a marathon. In this heat, in these flat conditions, it really is a marathon. Now, Kingy's out of the water. Whether Leach or Thompson beat him is really not the issue. It's where... Now, Craig Hummer has turned in fourth, just 10 metres behind Cox. Trevor Hendy is now out of the water in fifth. So Trevor has now got Craig Hummer in front of him and Coxie in front of him. So, jeepers, it's on for young and old.
Well, this is really close, Tim. Trevor Hendy won't give this up. There's no doubt. You can see they're looking out to sea. He's got a big job to do. There's only the board league to go. He's about 15 metres behind, and Grant Kenny... This is going to be... Grant Kenny's got some great shots from his ski out there. We're going to see those in a moment. Trevor Hendy has really put the sprint on. Look at Hendy go. He's going to sprint up behind Brett Tyke and try and make a race of this. It's going to be tough for him. The lead now, King, and Hummer really going after King. That was a great effort, Tim, from Hummer. He went from about 10th place to 4th in that swim. Can't hear us. There's the update. King, Leach, Thompson, Hummer, Hendy and Murray Cox in 6th position, heading out towards the board turning boys. But Michael King, to me, every stroke goes by, I think he's going to get this one. Very, very close, Carla. He knows he's got a chance now. He'd know where Hendy is, and he would think, I've got this race.
Well, now, seeing as though this is also the last race, he'd just be putting everything into it, all his effort and all the energy that he has saved, because this is the last leg. So, he won't be letting up, and he just looks like he's looking very strong out there. You can see just the rear of them from behind.
And John Holt just looking at the leading pack there. Guy Leach something to prove. He has something to prove to us all that if there wasn't that problem earlier with the rudder, perhaps this would have been his day.
Well, it's hard to say that because he really had an easy race in that. He took the last couple of legs easy, but he's doing well now. But Scotty Thompson is leading them out, and Michael King and Guy Leach riding his horse. Scott Thompson is an endurance athlete. He was a wonderful runner, wonderful biathlete before he concentrated on Ironman. He's leading them now. Guy Leach in 2nd place. Michael King in 3rd. Michael King takes a look over the shoulder and sees that Craig Hummer, Brett Tyke and Trevor Hendy are there. But in these dead flat conditions, it's almost impossible to make up 50 metres in 200. I've seen Trevor do it before. I saw a performance at Collaroy where he won an Australian title where he pulled 50 metres in 200. If it's a miracle that Trev could do it, but I think that King is going to be the man on the day.
But Johnny, don't forget there's Craig Hummer. Hummer now just turning that 2nd turning mark. Yes. He's only about 4 lengths off the lead, and King would have looked behind for him as well. King's now up on his knees and sprinting.
They're really going for it, Michael. I can see here the intensity is lifted. King and the first 3 are really going. Hummer's trying his best. Trevor's trying to come around Hummer, but I think if King takes it today, it'll be testimony to the great training and preparation that he's had. His coach, Terry Buck, has said to me he's trained smarter than he's ever trained, and it'll be a great moment for Michael King to take a victory in one of these Uncle Toby's races today.
Well, it does look at this stage like Hendy might finish as far back as 3rd today. It's his worst position this year. He's had 4 firsts and 1 second so far this year. Michael King on the left-hand of the side of the screen there. Guy Leach in front. You can see there Trevor Hendy just on the left-hand side of your screen in the middle there. He's really starting to sprint towards the beach. He's come right alongside Craig Hummer. So Hendy has gone from 3 lengths behind Hummer and has really come at him. He's only about 3 or 4 lengths behind the leaders, but I don't think he can get them from there. Hendy's really got his head down and he's going for it, but I don't think he can get King. King is looking behind and sees Hendy coming at him. There's the shots from Grant Kenny's ski. Hendy there sitting up on the wash of Hummer. He's going to sprint the last 20 or 30 metres. Hendy now going for it. He's passing Hummer. These two are fighting now for 2nd position overall today. Whoever wins out of these two will claim 2nd position. But King now is only about 10 metres from the beach. A little wave there behind Hendy is going to push for it. There's Leach now looking for a wave. King desperately, look at his arms. He's just falling to pieces. He's just trying to hang in. Scott Thompson sprinting, a great finish to this 4th race. But King will get there. King's going to win for the first ever time. Guy Leach will come across the line. He'll take out this 4th race. Scott Thompson will come across in 2nd. But Michael King will have done enough in 3rd to win overall today. A tremendous performance from him. His first ever win. Guy Leach, who was so unlucky, absolutely sprinting to the finish line. Look at Leach go. Leach now heading for the line. And Leach will take out the 4th race here at Scarborough Beach. Scott Thompson across in 2nd place. And Michael King, unofficially, has done enough to win overall the sixth round of the Uncle Toby Super Series. Hendy has beaten Hummer, so Hendy will get second. Hummer really sprinting, but he can't get in. And there's Trevor Hendy crosses the line with Brett Tyke, right behind him. Then Hayden Reese and Craig Hummer. So the unofficial place is King first, Hendy second, and Hummer third. And that will give him third place overall today in the Uncle Toby Super Series.
And tonight the boys will celebrate an amazing day of Ironman racing. Tim Bailey has been in the thick of it all day long, and Tim's there now.
Here's a fair bit of mateship. Trevor Hendy just coming over and patting Guy. You had a fair bit to prove in that last race, Guy.
Yeah, after we ate 2/3 in the first race, and my ski leg's been good all day, and I honestly believe that, that today was my day to win, and frustration at Portsea and Freshie, and I really wanted to come out with 2 wins the last 2 races of the year, and, that's last year I snapped my paddle in half in the 3rd race here. This year my cable comes off my ski. My ski's 2 days old, I don't know. I just don't deserve it, do I?
Fate can be an awful animal at times. It was a brand new ski, but you've come back. I mean, the mental toughness to say, OK, I've put that behind me, I can win this race. Is that what you set out to do, obviously?
I usually go better. I mean, Mick will tell you, he knows, he trains with me, but I usually go better when I get mad, and I was shitty, I must tell you. And
I know, mate. Yeah.
And I was going to snap my paddle over my head in the 3rd race. I thought, well, that's not very smart because I need it for the 4th race. But had it been the 4th race, the paddle would have been snapped in half and so would have the ski. But, I contained myself, just focused the energy that I had and come up with the goods.
Yeah, congratulations. A great attitude, mate. Back to you, Larry.
Tim, I tell you what, we'd have to look far and wide to find more determination than that man holds, Guy Leach. And we're going to take a very quick break. Back for the end of round 6. We'll wrap it up after this. And welcome back to Scarborough Beach, where we have just witnessed what most of the boys are calling the toughest race so far this season. There's some very sore and sorry and sunburnt Ironmen in the Stingo's recovery tent right now, I can tell you. Let's check the overall results after a magnificent day's racing here in Perth. Michael King, 13 points, right up there with Trevor Hendy. He's had a tremendous day. We're going to talk to him in a sec. Hayden Reese and Brett Tyke down there, 24. Guy Leach on 26. Murray Cox after a tremendous first race on 33. Jonathan Crowe, 45. Dwayne Tyres, we thought he may do a little better than that, on 50 points. And checking out position number 15 for you now, Drew Blatchford and Sean Rowe, Grant Wilkinson. Then Simon Martin failed to start today and puts him in position number 20 with 80 points there. That we have had a right royal upset today. The King beat the King. This man, Michael King, toppled Ironman King Trevor Hendy, and a marvellous race. Congratulations to you, first of all.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Larry.
Mate, a slow start. It wasn't the best start you've had.
Yeah, it wasn't the best start. The 2 run legs in the first race didn't suit me at all, but I knew once the race went on, the more we'd done, my endurance would come in and I'd come through on the day.
Tell you what, that endurance certainly kicked in around about the ski leg, didn't it?
It certainly did. I've done a lot of work over the last few weeks with Terry Buck, my coach, and it's all seemed to have come right at the right time.
In fact, we've got some tremendous pictures of you here up against Clint Robinson. Now, you couldn't pick a tougher opponent to show off your ski leg today, but you've done it, and Clint, the best one we've got in the country, you beat him.
Yeah, certainly did. I think Clint was a little bit tired there and let me sort of take over, and he sat on my wash. But, my ski paddling is going exceptionally well at the moment.
Indeed it is, as we're witnessing on television right now. But when did you decide to kick in? I mean, it wasn't really a day of strategies, was it? It was just to hang in there as much as you could.
It certainly was. On these sort of conditions, you just got to hang in there and be up amongst the front runners, and then as you get closer to the finish, you got to give it all you've got and try and get to the line first.
All right, and just quickly, how tough was it?
It certainly was tough. It's the softest sand in Australia and on the circuit. And also the weather was really hot over here, and that took a lot out of us also.
All right, mate, a great race, and congratulations. Nice to have you in the winner's circle.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Michael. And we will check now the series adjusted points for you after the race, after round 6. Trevor Hendy, 174. Can this man be beaten? We'll find out shortly. Michael King with some well-earned points there on 160. Dwayne Tyres right behind him on 159, down to Craig Hummer. Then a good day today, and Scott Thompson. Then we head on to Andy Meikle and Guy Leach. Sad break for Guy today. Simon Martin then again, who failed to start. David Foister. And Craig Hackett, Jonathan Crowe then, John Robinson. Rideau also didn't make it through the elimination rounds yesterday. There is Barry Newman, and we get through to Mark Bennett, the oldest in the field, who had a good day out, and Scott Mortimer there as well, Joshua Blair, and in 35th spot, Brent Payne on 6 points. Well, the winning will continue, and the ball is in your court now. You have just one last chance to get your hands on this brand new Daihatsu Feroza. The competition now, this is the last chance you have to enter. Take down these numbers. There you go for the magic moments, and we will draw the winner, in fact, in a couple of weeks' time in Manly. and we certainly hope to see you at Manly, because that is our final, the decider, and what a climax it will be to a sensational season of racing. So please join us for Manly, February 12. We will be there. It is the continuous event. See all the stars come into their own, and it's been a long, long season. They're looking forward to it. We hope to see you there, and from everybody in Scarborough, bye for now.